Chapter 786. The War God's Nemesis, 1. Usually, when a martial saint appeared in a small country, they would celebrate. However, in a kingdom, a martial saint was nothing. However, the appearance of an alchemist could attract the attention of the kingdom. A grade 6 alchemist was even more highly regarded by the kingdom. However, if a spirit alchemist became a saint alchemist, it would be a world-shaking event. They had to open the canon to celebrate. After all, there were only 3 saint alchemists in the Black Continent, 2 level 7 saint alchemists and 1 level 8 saint alchemist. This time, Tian had become a level 8 super divine alchemist. He had refined a level 8 mutated peerless spirit concentration pill, and was known as the best divine alchemist in the Mystic Continent and the Divine Martial Continent. More than 100,000 invitations were sent out. Those who were invited were all super martial emperors, martial saints, overlords, and members of the royal family. The 3 saint alchemists were naturally invited as well. Tian did not care about the matters outside as other people were handling them. He, Chengzi, and the others were seriously cultivating and healing themselves in the training room. After all, their opponent this time was the martial god, and their cultivation had just stabilized. He had suffered a great loss in the battle with the war god. As time passed, Lingshan's heavenly demon power was refined by the true dragon Qi. As for his other injuries, Chengzi and the other 3 women worked together to help him recover. In half a month, his injuries had completely recovered. After his injuries recovered, Tian began cultivating alone. Although the battle with the martial god was extremely dangerous, he had gained countless experiences. There were very few opportunities to fight a war god. However, in a battle with a martial god, one would either win or die. Those who could survive would naturally gain rich experience, and this experience was exchanged with their lives. Gradually, Tian began to meditate and meditate. He imprinted everything that happened during the battle into his mind and slowly discovered some of his weaknesses so that he could make adjustments when the time came. This time, he spent a full 10 days in meditation. After 10 days, Tian opened his eyes. His eyes flashed and a smile appeared on his face. His expression was calm, and his aura disappeared. He was like an ordinary person. His cultivation realm had already reached the point of returning to the original. This was the return to simplicity in martial arts. After reaching an extreme, one's entire temperament and aura sublimated and completely converged. If I were to encounter a martial god expert again, I wouldn't be so passive. There was a faint smile on Lingshan's face. He had refined some of the destruction cyclones in the divine dragon ring while he was recuperating over the past few days. Although he had not refined 1/10,000th of the total, he had already reached his limit with his current cultivation base. The most powerful part of a martial god expert was that he could control heaven and earth, control true essence, and a little bit of half-divine qi. However, although Tian was a martial saint powerhouse, he had mastered the 5 elements world. In this aspect, he was not a martial god. As for the divine qi that he controlled was something that even martial god experts didn't control. However, he controlled some of it. This divine qi would be the nemesis of martial god experts. Apart from his cultivation level, the gap between him and the martial god had also narrowed considerably. Moreover, the divine martial black heavenly sword was extremely domineering. It carried divine qi and destructive divine qi. When the time came, it would definitely be able to deal a heavy blow to the martial god. With a faint smile on his face, Tian walked out of the practice room. Chengzi and the others were all in the garden of the palace. After becoming a martial monarch realm expert, they only needed to cultivate normally. Besides, they did not dare to cultivate since Tian was recuperating from his injuries. They had to deal with some external matters. However, they were relieved to know that Lingshan's injuries had stabilized. Coupled with Lingshan's breakthrough, the girls were overjoyed. More importantly, Tian had eliminated the martial god powerhouse. His status had skyrocketed and his reputation was shocking. As long as he did not provoke others, they would have no time to hide. Although Lingshan's cultivation base, status and strength were not as good as a martial god powerhouse, they were roughly on par. Big brother Tian, you're done cultivating? Yuan Yingying was the first to see Li Ling Tian. She was overjoyed and quickly ran toward him. Her little face was filled with joy as she held Li Lingshen's arm with her jade-like hands and leaned her head against Li Lingshen's side. She looked extremely happy as she pulled Li Ling Tian and Tang Qingyue to where they were. The girls smiled when they saw Yuan Yingying. "Yes, I'm done cultivating." Li Ling Tian spoke as he walked with a confident smile on his face. When the two of them entered the pavilion, Tang Qingyue and the others greeted Li Ling Tian. "Imperial uncle, sit here." Yuan Qingqing stood up and gave up her seat. Her face was full of affection. She looked extremely cute and was completely a sensible baby. Not bad. Qingqing has grown up. You even know how to show filial piety to imperial uncle. Li Ling Tian reached out and stroked Qingqing's head with a happy smile on his face. He didn't say anything and directly sat down where Qingqing had started. Qingqing sat down beside Huangfu Yuan, looking extremely obedient. "You seem to be in good spirits. You should have gained a lot." Yuan Yingying was on Li Lingshen's left while Huangfu Yuan was on his right. Seeing the smile on Li Lingshen's face and his high spirits, she knew that Li Ling Tian must have gained a lot. Tang Qingyue and the others were also looking at Li Ling Tian, curious to know what Li Ling Tian had gained. For a powerhouse like Li Ling Tian, any slight improvement was difficult to achieve. "I've refined some of the divine qi. With this divine qi and the divine martial black heavenly sword, the martial god experts will definitely be wary of them in the future. At that time, even if I'm not a match for a martial god expert, I'll at least have some capital to protect myself," Li Ling Tian said with a smile. He extended his hand and a gray halo appeared in his palm. The halo was extremely weak, but it gave off an aura of death and destruction. Ordinary martial artists could not sense it at all. Only after reaching the martial supreme realm could they understand the power and terror of this halo. Tang Qingyue and the others were shocked when they saw the halo on Li Lingshen's palm. Their expressions changed several times. However, they were happy after that. To them, the stronger Li Lingshen's cultivation base was, the happier they were. At least Li Lingshen's control over the technique was stronger, and their safety was guaranteed. What a terrifying divine qi. Although it's not much, I'll definitely kill a martial saint instantly. Tang Ziming's face was filled with shock. She pouted her rosy little lips and said softly. Her face revealed a fearful expression, and she looked extremely cute. "Martial saints are no longer my enemies. My greatest opponents are martial gods. The Carefree Empire is only facing martial god realm experts now. However, there aren't many martial god realm experts in the Xian continent. As long as these martial god realm experts don't make a move, the Carefree Empire won't be a threat. Also, although our Xiaoyao Empire's army is strong, we lack a top-notch martial saint. We can't possibly have you do everything yourself, right?" Shan Mei Er's eyes were filled with a hint of charm. Her entire being was a perfect combination of purity and charm. She was a unique existence in this world. Her beautiful eyes were now looking at Li Ling Tian as she spoke gently. After she finished speaking, the other girls all nodded in agreement. "That's right. Ling Tian usually doesn't make a move now. He will only make a move when it's absolutely necessary. The targets that Ling Tian makes a move against are those heaven-defying false martial god experts. If I can subdue a few super 9th heavenly layer martial saints, that'll do. However, if I want to subdue a 9th heavenly layer martial saint, I'll have to rely on Ling Tian." Tang Qingyue also spoke up and told him about the current situation in the Carefree dynasty. If the Carefree dynasty was attacked by other kingdoms, it would not be their style to not take revenge. The Xiaoyao dynasty wanted to unify the Black Continent, and now it was a good excuse and reason. Since they were going to make a move, they would have to face countless super experts and armies. Among the experts, Liberty Sacred City was no match for the other kingdoms in terms of numbers or power. In the Freedom Dynasty, the strongest person was a 6th heavenly layer martial saint. In other kingdoms, there were always 9th heavenly layer martial saints. No matter how powerful the Freedom Dynasty was, they were not a match for a 9th heavenly layer martial saint. Indeed. Let's make a move now and subdue the 4 kingdoms. We'll also pull some 9th heavenly layer martial saints over. They'll either submit or die. It's not something that can be done in a short period of time to nurture an expert. We can only rely on the experts of the other kingdoms. I don't need to do anything in the previous battles. I'll wait until the moment of crisis to eliminate the other party's experts. As for the future, I'll naturally try my best not to make a move so as not to delay my cultivation. Tian smiled as he listened to the girl's opinions. Although she was a girl, she was smart and meticulous. Tian might have thought of these things, but he would often forget about them. However, after Tang Qingyue and the others said it, it was different. He would care about his wife's opinion. Following that, Tian solved the problems Tang Qingyue and the other girls encountered in their cultivation and gave Qingqing some guidance. The whole family was happy, and the entire garden was extremely warm. At that moment, Tian frowned and his expression turned grave. However, the solemnity soon turned into excitement, and the smile on his face became even wider. "What's wrong?" Huangfu Yuyan asked in confusion when she saw Li Lingshan's expression. Something that could attract Li Lingshan's attention must not be simple. Otherwise, he would not have such an expression. "Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi are breaking through. You guys stay here. I'll go take a look." Tian left the garden quickly after giving a simple explanation. He flew toward the depths of the palace and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Tang Qingyue and the others were left in the garden. They were all surprised. I recommend the new book, Ancient Sage Myriad Ancient King. I welcome everyone to read and save it. I also want to vote for it. The new book needs everyone's support. Only with everyone's support can the new book go further. Chapter 787. Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi's breakthrough. Li Lingshan's face was filled with excitement as his body flashed. There were many arrays in the imperial palace, but to him, they were nothing. He was the master of this array. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the edge of the palace, which was also the deepest part of the palace. It was also a forbidden area of the imperial palace because this place was the place with the densest spiritual energy in the imperial palace. After Li Lingshan's construction, the place was heavily fortified with numerous spirit-gathering formations. It was a perfect place for cultivation and breakthrough. In the previous battle, Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi had defeated their opponents and found an opportunity. Li Tian allowed the two of them to enter this place to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, Li Tian had arrived at the top of a mountain range. This mountain range was also the territory of the imperial palace. The mountain peak was at least 10,000 meters high. At the top, the spiritual pressure was so strong that even a martial saint would not dare to step foot on it. With Li Lingshan's cultivation base and strength, he did not feel any pressure at all when he arrived at the mountaintop. Looking at Yuan and Tian Chengzi in front of him, the corners of his mouth could not help but reveal a faint smile. Then, his divine sense moved, and his fingers flipped, casting spells one after another. Heavenly Imperial Array. Spirit Gathering Array. Sky Screen Formation. 10-directional Heaven and Earth Formation. One by one, the array formations were deployed. Li Tian was only relieved after the array formations were completed. The entire sky fell silent, but streams of mysterious aura descended from the void. Refine the Spirit Concentration Pill. Hurry up. Condense your spirit and protect your body, and comprehend the divine chi of the congealing spirit pill. Heaven and earth are balanced. No, your attributes are not good enough to form a three-legged confrontation. I'll help you. Li Tian watched the duo's cultivation seriously. Both of them were already at the pseudo-martial god realm. All these years, their hatred had been suppressed deep in their hearts and they could not break the curse. This time, he had defeated his opponent, and his hatred had disappeared. He had obtained an opportunity, and his realm had loosened. There were already signs of a breakthrough. Now that the two of them had obtained the opportunity, they naturally broke through when the water flowed. However, it was impossible for them to achieve a true breakthrough without the help of some external force. Nevertheless, they had Li Lingshan's coagulate spirit pill in their hands, which became their greatest help and reliance. He thought of Li Lingshan's level 8 mutated peerless spirit concentration pill and had a rough idea of what was going on. Li Tian quickly instructed them to use the coagulate spirit pill when he saw the duo's current situation. When he spoke, his expression was extremely serious, unlike a warrior sage powerhouse. Instead, it was as if he was the master of AoTian and the other two, and his tone was unquestionable. This was because his knowledge of cultivation was not something that the experts of the divine martial continent could compare to. At least, no one among the martial saint experts could compare to him. The two of them did not hesitate at all. They had absolute faith in Tian because they knew that Lingshan's cultivation was powerful and he could solve any cultivation problem. Even though the pseudo-martial god had been in this world for hundreds of years, he was not as experienced as Tian, who was in his 20s. They were also puzzled. No matter how heaven-defying a young man was, it was impossible for him to know so many things. However, facts speak louder than words. They had to admit that Tian was a heaven-defying man. Now that Tian was going to guide them in their breakthrough, they were naturally overjoyed. Tian had also started to make his move. He cast a series of magic arts to help the two of them refine the pills quickly. He was the one who had refined the congealing spirit pill, so he was naturally clear about the power of the medicinal effect. It was also easy for him to control it. If other experts used the pill, they would definitely comprehend it and not dare to use it easily. After all, such a grade 8 medicinal pill was a heaven-defying existence. It carried a powerful effect and might. If one was not careful, they would not be able to unleash the might of the medicinal pill, and might even be destroyed by the medicinal pill to break through. At this moment, Tian was personally in charge of the pills. At least, there would not be any problems with the pills. Both of them were excited and proud when they saw Tian helping them refine the elixir. They were the first in the world to be protected by a level 8 super divine alchemist. At the thought of this, Lingshan's mind stirred and he noticed that the duo's state of mind had fluctuated. He immediately berated them. He was slightly angry in his heart. He really wanted to slap the two of them and send them flying. At this moment, they still dared to fluctuate their state of mind. Wasn't this courting death? The duo's hearts trembled when they heard Lingshan's reprimand. They were both shocked. Even though they knew that Tian was berating them, they were not the least bit upset. Instead, they were filled with gratitude and warmth because they understood that Tian was doing this for their own good. If it were anyone else, Tian would not have helped them personally. With Lingshan's heaven-defying nature, he could easily produce a bunch of 9th firmament martial saints to serve him. Tian berated them because he valued them. Therefore, the duo did not dare to be distracted anymore. There was only one determination in their hearts. No matter what happened in the future, they would go through a mountain of knives and a sea of fire for Tian. He would not feel the slightest bit of unwillingness. For the sake of his master, Tian, he would not hesitate even if he had to be crushed into pieces. Immediately, the two of them began to stabilize their minds and focus on refining the power of the pill. Absorbing the mysterious aura of heaven and earth. Comprehending heaven and earth. His breakthrough was also very smooth, and he did not encounter any unforeseen circumstances. However, as the day passed, Tian noticed a problem. That was, the two of them could not form a three-legged confrontation at all. The chance of one person breaking through was only 1/10, and the chance of two people working together to break through was only 1/3. If they formed a three-pronged confrontation, they might have a 50% chance. Tian frowned when he realized this. For a 9th heavenly layer martial saint powerhouse, having a 1/3 chance of breaking through was already heaven-defying among heaven-defying. From Lingshan's words, it seemed that he wanted to increase their chances of achieving a breakthrough. He was not satisfied with a 1/3 chance at all. After a moment of silence, Tian sat down cross-legged beside the two of them. The three of them formed a three-legged stance and circulated their powerful attributes. Both of their attributes were single attribute and lacked the power of a three-pronged confrontation. Tian was at the 5 elements perfection, so he could balance out any attribute he needed. In other words, with his participation, he could balance any missing attributes and form a three-pronged confrontation. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. On the mountaintop, the force continued to rotate, and vortexes appeared one after another. The three of them also began to rotate. After a full 5 days, the three of them had stabilized and were comprehending all the mysteries of the world. Even though Tian was only a first firmament martial saint, he was able to sense the changes in the world after joining the duo. Moreover, even if he did not follow Yuan, AoTian and the other two, he could still comprehend heaven and earth. This was the power of the 5 elements. The current him only had a better understanding of the 5 elements and heaven and earth, which was just icing on the cake. Summon all spirit alchemists to concoct pills. Concoct a level 6 pill to trigger the spirit infusion. On this day, Tian opened his eyes with excitement on his face. He could sense that the two of them had comprehended everything in heaven and earth and gained their own talents. As long as he could attract the heavenly tribulation, he would become a martial god expert. However, he suddenly thought of something. The breakthrough of the two of them was absolutely earth-shattering. If they did not hide it, they would definitely be suspected by outsiders. He immediately thought of the spirit infusion impact when a spirit alchemist concocted a level 6 pill, using this spirit infusion impact to conceal the breakthrough. The Carefree dynasty wanted to unify the Black Continent, but they couldn't expose the existence of the martial god before they unified a few kingdoms. Otherwise, they would be attacked by the entire Black Continent. Thinking of this, he quickly gave the order to gather all the spirit pill masters of the Xiaoyao dynasty. Each one of them was a level 6 spirit pill master, so the spirit infusion impact of refining level 6 pills would conceal the changes in the world. Soon, more than 30 level 6 spirit alchemists arrived at the mountain peak and began to refine pills. None of them understood what Tian was trying to do, but Tian was a god in their eyes and his words were like a divine decree. Be careful and focus on breaking through to the martial god realm. I will protect you. When the spirit alchemists below refine the tier 6 pills and inject their spirit energy, you guys can start to trigger the power of heaven and earth to break through. Lingshan's divine consciousness sensed that the spirit alchemists below were refining pills, so he spoke to Yuan and the other man. After saying that, he stood up and went to the side of the mountain peak. Standing on a precipice, he looked down at the 10,000-meter cliff. The strong wind kept blowing his clothes. His entire body was like a towering mountain peak. His thin back could withstand any danger. In front of him, the divine martial profound heaven sword had already been drawn out. The originally small and exquisite sword that was only an inch long had now become a domineering and magical long sword. The long sword was not an ordinary 3-foot-long blade. Instead, it carried a domineering aura. There was a magical crystal on the handle, and the destructive power was also emitted from the crystal. The divine martial black heavenly sword was like a 1,000-pound sword that was stabbed into the ground, and its sound was like a dragon's roar. At this moment, Lingshan's aura had merged with the divine martial black heaven sword. He was no longer a sword or a person. He was now one with the sword. The sword was also a person, and the person was also a sword. It was quiet on the mountaintop. Yuan, AoTian and the other man were able to sense Lingshan's movements as they were able to comprehend heaven and earth. The fact that Tian was able to stand guard for them at this moment was enough to show how much he valued and cared for his subordinates. Waiting for the spirit alchemist to concoct the pill to attract the spirit implantation. After half a day, he finally received a spirit infusion attack. Boom! Boom! After the first spirit infusion attack, the second one appeared. Those who came here were all powerful 6th-grade spirit pill masters. Their pill refining skills were also extremely powerful, and their pill refining speed was also not much different. With the appearance of the spirit injecting impact, Yuan, AoTian and the other two also began to comprehend the heaven and earth's heaven's might. Explosions sounded continuously between heaven and earth. At the same time, heavenly might descended. Chapter 788. Strong Enemy, 1. The descent of the heavenly might caused the world to change. Auspicious clouds appeared in the sky. The lightning bolts of the spatial thunder continued, as if the end of the world had arrived. As expected, Lingshan's worries had come true. When the auspicious clouds appeared in the sky, all the citizens and powerhouses were shocked to see it. Auspicious clouds again. Could it be that 9th heavenly layer martial saint is breaking through? That's not right. The 9 heavens doesn't exist in this city. This auspicious cloud isn't as powerful as when young master broke through. It should be a martial monarch realm expert breaking through to the martial saint realm. These are all spirit infusion attacks, and they were caused by a few pill refiners concocting pills. It should be a strange sign caused by the simultaneous concoction of pills by spirit alchemists. All of a sudden, the experts and citizens of Liberty Sacred City began to discuss. They all thought that it was an expert who had broken through. However, this time, they did not suspect Li Lingtian of having a breakthrough. It was because Li Lingtian had only achieved a breakthrough a month or two ago. Naturally, he would not be able to achieve another breakthrough. Seeing the countless spirit injections, they were all extremely shocked. Although he didn't understand what was going on, the spirit pill master should be cultivating pill concoction skills. Even so, the experts and citizens of Liberty Sacred City were extremely happy. No matter what the reason was, Liberty Sacred City was stronger and more powerful. Rumble! Rumble! A series of thunderclaps rang out as electric arcs crisscrossed the space. Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi welcomed the heavenly tribulation. 9 heavenly tribulations. Please visit Cytostories. C0M. Maybe Y0 you will eng 0 why the captivating H0 Arta 0 rise. Li Lingtian was feeling depressed. Although the heavenly tribulation that the two of them faced could not compare to his, it was still dozens of times stronger than the heavenly tribulation that other powerhouses would normally experience. However, at this time, he would not make a move. For a true expert to break through, he could support pills and some basic things could help. However, if he really wanted to break through, he would have to rely on his own luck. If he had to make a move at any time, then he would not be a strong person. Moreover, he was not omnipotent because he was not God. At this time, the only thing he could do was to block some dangers and not let the experts disturb him. If it really came to the most critical moment and the two of them were to be destroyed, he would also take action. Even if he could not break through, his cultivation would still be stronger. Such a person was still useful, but his future would be gone. Boom! It was already the 6th heavenly tribulation, and the power of the 6th heavenly tribulation was incomparably powerful. The two of them had already used all their strength to block the 6th heavenly tribulation. Li Lingtian closed his eyes slightly when he saw this. He no longer looked at Yuan and Tian Chengzi. Both of them could sense the situation. They knew that Li Lingtian would not make a move as it would depend on their luck. Li Lingtian had already done what he needed to do. Whether or not they could become martial gods depended on their fate and fortune. The 7th bolt of heavenly tribulation descended. The two of them spat out a mouthful of blood, and their entire bodies became bloody. However, his eyes shone with a sharp light, and a resolute aura was emitted. The 7th heavenly tribulation did not destroy them. Next, they would have to wait for the 8th heavenly tribulation. However, Li Lingtian opened his eyes at that moment. His eyes were shining brightly. His aura burst forth as he looked into the void. The divine martial black heaven sword beside him sensed Li Lingtian's aura and began to tremble excitedly. Clang, clang. Clang, clang. Although the divine martial profound heaven sword was stuck in the ground, the destructive aura on it exploded and made a clanging sound. The strong wind blew Li Lingtian's clothes and long hair. He stood proudly in the wind like a god of war. I once said that if you don't seek death, you won't die. Since someone wants to court death, I naturally won't stay idle. I should fulfill his wish. In this world, there is no shortage of people who want to die. I also like this kind of thing. If there are people who want to die, the heavens will not tolerate it. Li Lingtian's lips curled into a faint smile. His face was calm as if he was talking to himself. The sound was blown away by the strong wind, but this sound reached the ears of Yuan and the other two, as well as the ears of the spirit alchemists below. Naturally, the spirit alchemists below did not know what Li Lingtian was up to. However, Yuan and Yuan Shaotian knew that a powerhouse had arrived and it was specifically targeted at them. Their goal was to stop them from breaking through. It seemed that someone had been watching them. He was just curious as to why Li Lingtian knew that someone was here to cause trouble. Based on Li Lingtian's reputation and his strength, there should not be any powerhouses coming after he had just killed the martial god. However, there were powerhouses here. Moreover, Li Lingtian had been waiting for this since a long time ago. It was indeed strange. Pay attention. If you don't want to break through, do as you see fit. You don't have to worry about anything else. Naturally, Li Ling Tian could sense the change in their state of mind. If they did not focus on breaking through now, it would be strange if the heavenly tribulation did not kill them. When he spoke, his tone was extremely domineering. After saying that, he no longer paid attention to the two of them. His eyes were still quietly looking at the void, and a banner had already appeared in his hand. Furthermore, a golden light flashed between his eyebrows as the divine array diagram appeared in front of him. With a flip of his fingers, he cast spells one after another, and all the spells entered the divine array diagram. Thousands of spells were cast. When the last spell was cast, the divine array diagram burst into a blinding light. At that moment, Li Ling Tian waved the banner in front of him and a strange aura entered the golden light. The light was suspended in the air like the sun. Li Ling Tian did not move even after he was done. His eyes were fixed on the distance as if he was waiting for something. Seconds passed. Finally, another strange sign appeared in the sky, and the eighth destructive heavenly tribulation appeared. Boom! The eighth heavenly tribulation was a destructive one. 9 arcs of lightning appeared in all directions in the sky, and the 9 arcs of lightning quickly fused together. Yuan AoTian, Tian Chengzi and Li Ling Tian smiled bitterly when they saw the heavenly tribulation. They did not expect Li Ling Tian to attract such a heavenly tribulation and Yuan AoTian and the rest to encounter it as well. This must be fate. Perhaps Yuan AoTian and the other two were too powerful and heaven-defying, which was why such a heavenly tribulation was attracted by them. The more powerful the heavenly tribulation was, the more powerful and terrifying it was, but the greater the achievement. Just as the eighth heavenly tribulation was about to descend, Li Ling Tian moved his finger and cast a spell. Immediately, a blinding golden light burst forth and enveloped the entire east. The golden light was like the morning light, illuminating half of the space. Walala! When the golden light appeared, the space trembled. In the golden light, everything was golden. However, a black dot appeared in the golden light. The experts and citizens in Liberty Sacred City all saw the black in the golden light. With the appearance of this black, all the experts understood that this black dot was an enemy. An enemy should have come. However, this black dot was actually stunned by the golden light and could not move at all. He can actually control space. The golden light was stable in the air, but it kept trembling. It was obvious that the black dot was constantly struggling. Although it did not struggle for the time being, as time passed, the golden light would be broken. The black dot's voice was filled with horror. All the experts looked at the black and knew that it was an enemy, but they could not see what the black dot looked like. However, Li Ling Tian saw it clearly. Li Ling Tian was surprised to see the powerhouse in the space. Moreover, there was a hint of killing intent in his heart. This powerhouse was not the one from last time. After killing Wu Dao, Li Ling Tian returned to the palace. Although he did not say anything, he knew that there was another martial god powerhouse besides Wu Dao. It was just that he had not made a move. He knew that the expert definitely had not left Liberty's sacred city. Otherwise, he would not have prepared in advance and waited for that expert to arrive. He had never expected that the martial god expert who had appeared was not the one from last time. It was actually someone else. How could he endure such a thing? He had to kill him. I said if you don't seek death you won't die. If we start and you leave, I definitely won't kill you. However, if you still want to die after I give you a chance, then you're courting death. Li Lingshan's lips curled into a cruel expression as he spoke indifferently. At this moment, the main character had already appeared. He no longer had any scruples and spoke in a loud voice. Although not everyone in Liberty Holy City could hear it, countless experts in Liberty Holy City were also attracted by this voice. At first, they did not know that it was Li Ling Tian who had cast the golden radiance. Now that Li Lingshan's voice had appeared, they naturally understood that it was Li Ling Tian who had cast it. Li Lingshan's every move was the focus of every powerhouse and citizen. For a moment, all the citizens and experts were looking at the black dot and golden light in the void. Countless martial saint powerhouses had begun their preparations. They surrounded the area within a radius of tens of millions of miles around Liberty Holy City. In their opinion, even a martial god powerhouse would have to flee or perish if Li Ling Tian were to make a move. This was because Li Lingtian had once killed a martial god powerhouse right in front of them, giving them the belief that Li Lingtian was the best in the world. As Li Lingtian spoke, the divine martial black heaven sword on the ground slowly floated up. The divine martial black heaven sword came before Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian grabbed it with one hand. Instantly, his aura soared, and a shocking sword intent soared into the sky. The sword intent erupted, and the sword scripture moved. The heaven-destroying sword formation was displayed. The metal will of the Great Path also erupted at this time. The destructive metal will of the Great Path and the sword will quickly fused. The fourth move of the heaven-destroying sword formation, Void Destruction. Li Lingshan's expression was calm as he spoke slowly. His voice was neither fast nor slow. When his voice fell, the world was filled with destructive sword chi and sword radiance, as well as an endless destructive aura. At this moment, the entire world seemed to have reached the end of the world, giving people a feeling of destruction. Chapter 789. Beat Up the Martial God, 1. The divine martial black heaven sword turned into a destructive weapon in Li Lingshan's hands. The space trembled in the face of the overbearing destruction divine chi sword aura. Li Lingshan's eyes were serious as a cruel expression appeared on his face. He waved his hand. Suddenly, a sword light tore through the air, and the entire space was divided into two halves in front of this sword light. The space was split into two halves, but the sword ray pierced through the void like a meteor and bombarded a black destruction. Destruction. The golden light was also destroyed at this moment. However, when the golden light was destroyed, the sword ray was able to pass through before the golden light was destroyed. With Li Lingshan's first firmament martial saint cultivation base and his heaven-defying strength, he was able to unleash the fourth move of the heaven-destroying sword formation to its fullest. This was the power of a martial saint. Originally he could not completely control the void destruction, but now he could unleash it to the extreme. Its power was earth-shattering and heaven and earth trembled. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded. The power of the sword light that destroyed the void had already bombarded the black dot. Immediately, the golden light trembled and finally turned into nothingness. The black dot disappeared between heaven and earth. The void shattered and formed a black hole, as if it wanted to devour the starry sky. At the same time, the space shattered like a mirror. Void stop. Li Lingshan's body swayed as he stared into the void. The divine martial black heaven sword hovered in front of him as he grabbed the banner and swung it. Instantly, space came to a standstill. The domineering power of the space banner was brought to full play in Li Lingshan's hands. Time stopped, and space seemed to freeze. In the air, the sound of blood spurting rang out. An old man in black was once again trapped in the air. However, the pose was aimed at Li Lingtian but was stopped by him. Instantly, all the experts understood. Li Lingshan's attack did not kill Black Point. Black Point had managed to escape the attack by casting a mystical secret skill, but it seized the opportunity to attack Li Lingtian after it escaped the attack. However, it was once again imprisoned by Li Lingtian. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Dominating divine fist. Li Lingtian did not even bother to look as he threw a punch. The destructive force of the punch shattered the void and slammed into the black-robed elder. Damn it! The black-clad elder was bombarded by Li Lingtian several times in a row. He was almost treated as a target and was instantly enraged. However, his body was sent flying backward and he spat out a mouthful of blood. With a furious look, a terrifying aura of destruction soared into the sky. Although the space trembled, the two of them stopped and did not immediately attack. The experts of Liberty's sacred city looked at the black-robed elder in the air as if they were looking at a dead man. Provoking Li Lingtian would only mean courting death. He was imprisoned by Li Lingtian twice in a row and was bombarded twice in a row. Sky stealing and sun shifting is indeed powerful, but in front of me, doesn't sky stealing and sun shifting seem petty? Li Lingtian replied calmly with a faint smile on his lips. After becoming a martial saint, his understanding of all kinds of divine powers had reached the perfection state. His saint-tier divine powers had also reached the extreme, and his control over treasures had become even more tacit. When he used void destruction, he thought that this attack would definitely injure the black-robed elder. However, he never expected the old man to use a secret technique to steal the sky and the sun. This sky-stealing sun-shifting was also a secret skill that was gifted to martial god powerhouses. However, the number of martial gods who had obtained this secret skill was almost zero. When he realized that the old man had used the sky-stealing sun-shifting skill, he was also extremely shocked. However, he had the upper hand and was able to take the initiative. He took the opportunity to display the spatial banner and achieved an unexpected harvest. This was the outcome of the old man underestimating Tian. He did not expect Tian to realize his underhand trick, and thus, he decided to beat Tian at his own game. He did not expect Tian to take advantage of him. Once again, he was trapped in the air and struck by a punch. If not for the powerful physique of a martial god expert, he would have died long ago. Rumble! Rumble! Boom! Boom! As Tian spoke, his eyes and divine perception were focused on Yuan and the other man. He was no longer concerned about the black-robed elder in the distance. Even if the other party was a martial god, after 2 attacks, even if he wasn't killed, he would still be heavily injured. His main task now was to restrain the other party. He could not let him disturb Yuan and Tian Chengzi's breakthrough. After Tian Chengzi and the others broke through, it would be the death of this black-robed old man. Puchi! The two of them spat out a mouthful of blood. Now, their expressions were somewhat dull. They were almost half dead from the destructive heavenly tribulation. However, his body and aura continued to change. His entire person began to transform. If they could avoid the 9th heavenly tribulation, the two of them would basically have a true breakthrough. The 8th heavenly tribulation had passed, and the two of them had a little chance to catch their breath. They quickly adjusted their state of mind and waited for the next heavenly tribulation to arrive. The two of them no longer had the mood to care about the experts outside, nor did they dare to pay attention to them. With Tian here, if they could not even deal with him, they would not be a match for him even if they became martial gods. Furthermore, they would be weakened for a period of time after their breakthrough. Tian lives up to his reputation. However, if someone wants you to die, you have to die. No matter how heaven-defying you are still alone. Take a look at this. The black-robed old man was furious, but he did not dare to be careless. He had been hearing about Lingshan's heaven-defying strength recently. Moreover, he was only a martial saint. He could not believe it. No matter how heaven-defying a martial saint was, he could not be that powerful. However, he was also afraid of a martial saint who could kill a martial god. He had been waiting for an opportunity ever since he arrived, but he did not expect Tian to be prepared for it. He had even seen through his movements and underestimated Tian, causing him to be bombarded several times in a row. If other powerhouses witnessed Lingshan's prowess, they would have attacked or fled the moment they saw Lingshan's array formation. This was because Lingshan's ability could destroy the world. By the time he saw Tian casting the golden light, his entire body was exposed and trapped in the air. He regretted his decision. After a few consecutive attacks, he could feel Lingshan's strength. He could not be described as an ordinary martial saint. As soon as he finished speaking, the black-robed old man's expression became crazy, and his shocking aura quickly rose. With a wave of his hand, the space trembled. A pitch-black mountain appeared in the sky. It was pitch black and one could not see the top. This pitch-black mountain was 100 miles in circumference. However, when they saw it clearly, they were all shocked. How was this a mountain? It was a terrifying demon beast. The mountain-sized demon beast was filled with a destructive aura. Moreover, this aura carried a cold aura. The entire space began to drop in temperature rapidly. In an instant, the ground was covered in frost, and this frost carried a corrosive power. Nether Chi. Nether Beast. 9th level 1st grade Nether Beast. Tian was surprised when he saw the pitch-black demonic beast in the sky. He hadn't expected to see an Umbra beast here. A 9th tier Umbra beast was equivalent to a 1st heavenly layer war god. At the same time, the powerhouses of Liberty Sacred City recognized the Umbra beast and were all extremely shocked. Now, there was a martial god powerhouse and a martial god level Umbra beast. No matter how heaven-defyingly Tian was, he was no match for two martial gods. Moreover, a first-class 9th rank Umbra beast was even more difficult to deal with than a martial god. You've seen a lot, but it's useless no matter how much you see. You're too arrogant. You've provoked someone you shouldn't have. This world can't let you live. The elder in black revealed a cruel expression as if he had seen Li Lingshan's fate. A bell appeared in his hand. He shook the bell, and a strange sound immediately sounded. The Umbra beast let out a furious roar and charged at Li Lingtian at high speed. The shocking Umbra energy carried a destructive pressure as if it wanted to crush Li Lingtian into pieces. Boom! The black-robed elder had timed his attack well. Just as the Umbra beast was about to attack Li Lingtian, there was a loud explosion in the sky. The 9th heavenly tribulation had arrived. Immediately, the destructive heavenly tribulation quickly bombarded Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi. The elder in black had a sinister smile on his face. Li Lingtian was attacked by the Umbra beast. Even if he survived, he could not help Yuan, AoTian and the others. As long as the Umbra beast kept Li Lingtian busy, he could wait until the heavenly tribulation to kill Yuan, AoTian and the others. Then, he could join forces with the Umbra beast to kill Li Lingtian. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. However, there was a smile in Li Lingshan's eyes. Man's plan is not as good as God's plan, Sai. My words never go back on their words. Li Lingtian spoke calmly as he watched the Umbra beast charge at him. With a sigh, all the powerhouses and the black-robed elder thought that Li Lingtian was sighing for himself. However, the smile on Li Lingshan's face turned strange as he watched from behind. This smile made the black-robed old man's heart tremble. He felt that something was wrong, but he did not know what was wrong. However, the black-robed old man soon understood what was going on. As soon as Li Lingshan's voice faded, he activated his divine consciousness and a stream of light appeared between his brows. Suddenly, a domineering weapon appeared in front of him. The weapon was powerful and domineering. There were traces of flames on it and endless magical light. Divine artifact. Another peerless divine artifact. Some powerhouses exclaimed when they saw the weapon in front of Li Lingtian with their divine consciousness. Although Li Lingtian did not move a single step, the powerhouses below could still see him with their divine consciousness. Naturally, they could see the weapon in front of Li Lingtian. Previously, Li Lingtian had displayed 2 types of divine weapons, both of which were supreme grade. Now, a supreme grade divine weapon had appeared. Even if the powerhouses were numb to Li Lingtian, they were still driven mad by the appearance of different top-notch treasures. Roar! Roar! At this moment, the humongous Umbra beast roared with a trembling voice. Its huge eyes were like lanterns, and its eyes were filled with fear and dread. Chapter 790. Clone 1. After the roar, the huge body that was charging toward Li Lingtian came to a halt. Staring at the overbearing weapon in front of Li Lingtian, his body trembled as if he had seen something terrifying. You're lucky I didn't kill you last time. There was a smile on Li Lingshan's face as he looked at the Umbra beast in front of him with a nonchalant expression. All the powerhouses and the black-robed elder were stunned by Li Lingshan's words. Naturally, the other powerhouses did not know that Li Lingtian had already defeated the Umbra beast once. When the Umbra beast appeared, Li Lingtian noticed that there was a violent Umbra chi on the Umbra beast's body. However, there was still a trace of a familiar aura on the Umbra beast. When he looked at the Umbra beast, he realized that there were still wounds on its body. Although it had healed, the aura was still there. This aura was left behind by Heavenly Monarch Crimson Sky. It turned out that this Umbra beast was the one he had encountered in the Ain River of the Yuan Peak Villa. He had forcefully used Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch to injure this Umbra beast, allowing it to escape. He did not expect to be brought to this place. It seemed that the people of the Yunfeng Villa knew about this Umbra beast. Have you seen this Umbra beast before? The black-robed elder was shocked when he heard Li Lingshan's words and saw the Umbra beast trembling. He thought that the Umbra beast must have been afraid of Li Lingtian and had been beaten up by him. Get lost. Last time I let you go. This time if you come again, I should have wiped you out. But now, I don't want to waste time. Li Lingshan's expression was calm, but he roared out as he glared coldly at the Umbra beast. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch in his hand shook, and the violent power of the Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch instantly erupted. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch's body emitted a faint mysterious flame, and it looked extremely terrifying. The air was trembling as if it was about to shatter. Roar! When the Umbra beast saw the might of Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch's weapon, it recalled the blow that Li Ling Tian had given it previously. It was now extremely afraid. Moreover, it could sense that this weapon was countless times stronger than the last one. With a loud roar, it quickly flew into the distance. It looked huge and heavy, but its speed was extremely fast. Come back! The black-robed old man did not expect things to turn out like this. He was instantly furious. He shouted at the Umbra beast, the bell in his hand shaking. Roar! 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 Screams came from the sky, but the more they got to the end, the softer the sounds became, and the pain in the sounds also became smaller. All the experts knew that the bell in the black-robed old man's hand was the key to controlling the Umbra beast. However, the distance of this control was limited. After the Umbra beast escaped the distance restriction, the bell's control over him also became smaller. All of this had far exceeded the expectations of all the experts. He did not expect a level 1 tier 9 Umbra beast to be scared away by Li Lingshan's words. The atmosphere in the air was extremely strange. The heavenly tribulation continued to bombard Yuan AoTian and Li Ling Tian. From the beginning to the end, Li Ling Tian did not leave the mountaintop. However, he managed to injure the martial god powerhouse twice and even scared away a martial god-level Umbra beast. Your Excellency, do you still want to leave after coming to Liberty Saint City? The black-robed elder realized that the situation was not right and his chances of killing Li Ling Tian and Tian Chengzi were extremely slim. He might not even have the chance to escape when the time came. His body flashed and disappeared in a strange manner. Li Ling Tian was stunned by the black-robed old man's actions. He did not expect the black-robed old man to try to escape. However, a faint smile appeared on his face. He waved the spatial banner in his hand with one hand, and a pair of crystal-clear wings appeared on his shoulder. Immediately, he disappeared. Just as he disappeared, the space distorted. The black-robed old man who had originally disappeared and fled appeared in the air. However, he was stumbling and looking extremely miserable. It was a complete mistake to attempt to teleport away before Li Ling Tian. Due to Li Lingshan's 5-element sacred body, he could control the 5 elements of heaven and earth. Coupled with the power of the space banner in his hand, it would be a piece of cake for him to teleport in space. When the black-robed elder appeared in the sky, he was stunned for a moment. When he realized that Li Ling Tian was no longer on the mountaintop, he was shocked. By the time he wanted to move, it was already too late. After all, he had just been knocked out of the space and was completely blindfolded. It was too late for him to dodge when he saw Li Ling Tian's disappearance. Just as he was about to dodge, a destructive force struck his back. His mind trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Li Lingshan's body was thrown out quickly. With Li Lingshan's cultivation base and the power of his sneak attack, he could easily destroy a martial saint powerhouse with his physical strength alone, even without using any heaven-tier superpower. The black-robed elder was a first firmament martial god top powerhouse. Despite being ambushed by Li Ling Tian, his strong physique prevented him from dying. However, he was still in a terrible state after being attacked. His body began to twist and turn, and traces of blood seeped out of his body. He looked extremely terrifying. It was impossible to escape from Li Lingshan's space. The movement technique displayed by the thunderclap wings was ethereal and strange. There was no fluctuation or aura in the space, and its speed was extremely fast. Even the teleportation of a martial god expert was not as fast as his movement technique. Swoosh! Boom! With another loud explosion, Li Ling Tian disappeared from the space and reappeared behind the black-robed elder. Before he could stop his body, Li Ling Tian punched him in the back. The impact of the thrown body and Li Lingshan's fist force caused the elder in black to vomit blood again. He was almost beaten senseless. At this time, even if he had the martial god's methods, he would not be able to use them. Boom! 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 In the air, the black-robed old man kept tossing Li Ling Tian out. As he did so, Li Lingshan's figure disappeared and reappeared behind the black-robed old man. For a moment, only the black-robed old man was being bombarded like a sandbag in the air. Even if Li Lingshan's fist was not fatal, if he were to be hit like this, even a god would be destroyed. Moreover, It was an extreme insult for a martial god to be suppressed by a martial saint. The powerhouses and citizens of Liberty Sacred City were thrilled to see Li Ling Tian pummeling the martial god powerhouse. This was a martial god powerhouse, yet he was being attacked like a toy in front of their young master. Let's see how long you can last. Show me your true abilities. Li Ling Tian continued to bombard the black-robed elder. Every punch carried a destructive force. Even if he could not kill the Valkyrie, he would at least leave the elder in a miserable state. Li Lingshan's entire body was almost crippled. In the end, his expression remained calm as he spoke in a flat tone. Now, the old man's true essence and defense had been greatly reduced, and he could not pose any threat to him at all. However, it was not so easy to kill him. Moreover, he was also worried that the old man would self-destruct in desperation. Thinking of this, he punched the black-robed old man and retreated to the top of the mountain. He kept the divine martial profound heaven sword and the divine array diagram. With a swipe of his hand, heavenly monarch crimson light appeared in his hand. His destructive power and pressure wreaked havoc in the space. Puff! The black-robed old man floated in the air and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was filled with anger and fear. He was a martial god realm expert, yet he was treated as an expert of the world and was beaten up by a martial saint. This was simply intolerable. However, the young man in front of him was too terrifying. He was even more terrifying than the martial god experts he had encountered before. He was completely relying on his speed and strength to suppress his attacks. If this young man continued to fight, he could only be destroyed. However, he didn't expect the young man to let go. He was puzzled. All right, I underestimated you. In that case, I'll see how powerful you are. Tianhua Scripture. 3 parts of the true body. The expression on the black-clad elder's face slowly calmed down as he looked at Li Ling Tian with a grave expression. Then, he opened his mouth and spoke slowly. The remaining true essence in his body also circulated at this time. A strange and powerful aura filled the space, and the space also continuously trembled under this aura. At the same time, the black-robed old man's figure changed strangely. An illusion appeared in the eyes of all the experts. 3 black-robed elders actually appeared in the sky. Moreover, they were exactly the same. Even their auras were the same. More importantly, the cultivation auras of these 3 elders were even stronger than before. Clone! Li Ling Tian exclaimed in his heart. The 3 black-robed elders before him were all real because the 3 elders were not fake in front of the eye of the divine soul. They were all real. However, 2 of the 3 old men were avatars, and one of them was the original body. Moreover, the weapons in the hands of the 3 elders were different. Although they were all divine artifacts, their weapons were not the same. If it was an illusion, the weapons of the 3 old men should be the same. Now, one martial god had become 3 martial gods. He was instantly shocked. It seemed that the black-robed elder had used a secret technique to temporarily increase his cultivation and use a clone technique. Immediately, countless powerhouses below were shocked when they heard Li Lingshan's figure. The 3 elders were all martial gods. This time, they were no longer as easy to deal with as the nether beasts. All of a sudden, they were worried for Li Ling Tian. Rumble! Rumble! In the sky, the heavenly tribulation was still descending. However, Li Lingshan's divine perception noticed that Yuan, AoTian and the other 2 were already on the verge of breaking through. The remaining heavenly tribulation's might could no longer affect them. What shocked him was that both of them had obtained mysterious talents. Relying on this talent to withstand the final heavenly tribulation, he felt much more relieved when he saw all of this. Then, he turned his attention to the black-robed old man. It was really difficult to defeat the black-robed old man now. However, a smile overflowed from the corner of his mouth. The appearance of this smile puzzled the black-robed old man. His heart trembled subconsciously. After fighting Li Ling Tian for so many times, he was traumatized by this young man. Even if he had the doppelganger skill, he was still afraid of this young man's smile. I recommend the new book, Ancient Sage Myriad Ancient King. I welcome everyone to read and save it. I also want to vote for it. The new book needs everyone's support. Only with everyone's support can the new book go further. Chapter 791. Summoning the Snow Goddess, 1. Clone Technique. A mere avatar technique. Do you want to win with numbers? You must be joking. Since that's the case, it'll make you despair. Li Lingtian looked at the 3 black-robed elders before him with a faint smile on his lips. This smile made the elders feel that something was amiss. He spoke slowly. His tone was calm, neither fast nor slow, as if he was talking to himself. However, countless powerhouses and citizens of Liberty Sacred City had heard Li Lingtian's words. His tone was filled with disdain. He disdained the black-robed old man's clone technique. Instantly, countless powerhouses were stunned. They did not know how Li Lingtian could deal with the 3 martial god powerhouses. Although 2 of the current triad martial god were avatars, their abilities were 1/3 of the martial gods. However, all the experts understood what was going on. The black-robed old man's expression also became unsightly. Li Lingtian activated the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness, and the space around him trembled. After the space trembled, a huge pitch-black object appeared in the air. This pitch-black object was even stronger than the Umbra beast. What a terrifying demonic aura. It's a 9th-order monster beast. It really is a 9th-ranked demonic beast. What a powerful demonic beast. For a moment, countless experts looked at the pitch-black object floating in the void. This pitch-black object was 2 to 3 times larger than the original Umbra beast. However, this pitch-black demonic beast was shaped like an incomparably huge gorilla. His body was filled with destructive power and demonic power that could destroy the world. It was enough to make countless martial saints tremble. The appearance of the demonic beast made the black-robed elder shudder. He did not expect Li Lingtian to have such a powerful and terrifying demonic beast. First-class 9th-order demonic beast. The black-robed elder cried out in alarm. A level 1 9th-level mystical beast was not inferior to the Umbra beast. Now, he was facing Li Lingtian and a terrifying mystical beast. However, there was still a trace of luck on his face. This was because the 2 clones and himself already had the advantage in terms of numbers and strength. That's right. It's a class 1 9th-order monster beast. Gorilla Demon, you deal with 1. Leave the other 2 to me. The smile on Li Lingtian's face grew wider. Now that things had come to this, he could not care less about anything else. All he needed to do was to kill the black-robed elder. That's right, this pitch-black demonic beast was a gorilla demon. It was a gorilla monster that had fallen a long time ago. Li Lingtian had obtained it from the Dishi family's ancient battlefield. At that time, it was still a level 8 demonic beast that had defeated all the other martial emperor powerhouses. However, it could only attack 3 times. After 3 times it would die. When Li Lingtian entered the Lost Forest to deal with the powerhouses from the House of Storms, the gorilla demon had made its last move and perished. A few years later, Li Lingtian had obtained the Demon King's Pearl some time ago. With the Demon King's Pearl's heaven-defying nature, the gorilla demon was reborn and its strength had reached Tier 9. Only Tang Qingyue and the others knew about this. The gorilla demon had obtained the Demon King's Pearl and was reborn. Its cultivation had soared, but it had been cultivating in the divine dragon rank. He was extremely grateful to Li Lingtian and believed in his strength. In just a few years, Li Lingtian had reached the martial sage realm and even revived him to Tier 9. Roar! The gorilla demon let out a violent roar. It nodded its huge head and immediately attacked one of the black-robed elders. Its huge arm was 100 meters long. With a wave, it was like a divine artifact tearing through the air. Immediately, one of the black-robed old man's clones began to fight. Moreover, the battlefield was also drawn away by the gorilla demon, and it quickly fought into the distance. Li Lingtian was not worried at all. With the gorilla demon's might and strength, it would not be a problem for him to kill the clone. Now, the gorilla demon and a black-robed elder's clone were fighting outside of Liberty Sacred City. Only 2 black-robed elders, a clone, and the original body were left in the air. When the old man saw that his clone was forced away by the gorilla demon, he was immediately stunned. He did not expect that this demon beast also knew how to fight. It actually led the opponent into a no-man's land. This way, it would no longer pose any threat to Liberty Sacred City. Naturally, he did not know that the gorilla demon had known Li Lingtian for a long time. Li Lingtian had also told him about the outcome of the battle, and that they could not fight in Liberty Sacred City. All right, let's see what else you have up your sleeves. I'll get rid of you first. The black-robed old man watched as his clone was forced to leave, and he began to worry. If he delayed any longer, his avatar would definitely be killed. The avatar was formed by his cultivation. If the avatar died, his cultivation would drop by a third. Now that Li Lingtian was alone, he would not let go of such an opportunity in case something unexpected happened. This young man was too terrifying. He could not be treated lightly. Sure, since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Ice summoning spell. Li Lingshan's smile remained on his face. He looked carefree and casual. After he finished speaking, his aura surged. However, Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light released his grip. He waved his hands continuously, and in an instant, a mysterious and strange gesture was displayed. Moreover, the entire space was filled with an icy aura, and a faint layer of frost covered the world. With his ice soul martial spirit, he could refine ice and the will of water. The icy air in the space was filled in an instant. At this moment, the air shook. Kacha! As Li Lingtian cast a spell in the void, a hole appeared in the void. A hole with a radius of 100 miles was formed. Countless gales were raging out at this moment, and there was also an endless destructive black substance shuttling through space. At the same time, a stream of cold qi appeared above the 9 heavens. This cold qi was tens of thousands of times stronger than the cold qi that Li Lingtian had unleashed. The two were on completely different levels. Moreover, the void seemed to be frozen by the cold air. All the experts looked at the void. A portion of the experts were extremely familiar with this situation. However, the situation they had seen in the past was completely different from the current one. In the sky, a white light rushed down from the space and finally arrived in midair. In the white light, an ice sculpture appeared. The ice sculpture was lifelike, as if a goddess had been frozen. Instantly, the entire space was frozen by a destructive cold air. Even the war god's black-robed elder trembled, and his eyes revealed a look of despair. Ice goddess clone. You used the summoning technique. The black-robed old man looked at the ice sculpture and immediately began to tremble. The aura and majesty of this ice sculpture made him, a martial god, feel afraid. It was like a martial saint trembling when he saw a martial god. He shifted his gaze to Li Lingtian. When he looked at Li Lingtian, his eyes were filled with disbelief. This young man's terror was beyond his imagination. Haha, goddess, we meet again. Li Lingtian did not answer the black-robed elder. The black-robed elder was completely confused by the situation before him. Anyone would know that Li Lingtian was the one who had cast the summoning skill. Moreover, Li Lingtian had mentioned it when he cast the summoning skill. A faint smile appeared on Li Lingshan's face as he looked at the snow goddess clone. It was as if he was talking to an old friend. There was no restraint at all, and there was a hint of frivolity in his tone. In this situation, almost all the experts staggered. To actually tease the summoned clone of the snow goddess, this was too fierce. However, everyone was curious to see how the clone of the snow goddess would react. After all, this ice sculpture was only a trace of the consciousness of the clone of the snow goddess. It could not be considered the real snow goddess. Humph, we meet again. But you still want her to help you. To the surprise of all the experts, the ice statue of the snow goddess actually said such a sentence. Initially, Li Lingtian thought that he was already very aggressive when he teased the snow goddess clone. He did not expect the snow goddess clone to speak like a little girl. Although the voice was cold, everyone knew that this voice was extremely gentle to the ice sculpture. When Li Lingtian heard the snow goddess tone, his body swayed and he nearly fell over. He burst out laughing. It was too fierce. It was actually so fierce. Facing countless experts, he did not even flinch. He did not expect that a single sentence from the ice goddess clone would almost knock him down. Kiki! Kiki! What was even more amazing was that the icy cold ice sculpture actually let out a coquettish laugh when it saw Li Lingshan's appearance. Although there was no movement and it was completely an ice sculpture, this ice sculpture was unparalleled. It was the clone of the snow goddess. The sound was extremely crisp. If it were not for the fact that it was an ice sculpture and the space was almost frozen, Tian would have been moved by the sound. Don't seduce me. My wife is watching from below. If I go down, it'll be finished. Since you're here, I'll leave that guy to you. You won't say that you can't do it, right? Tian calmed himself down and shifted his gaze to the black-robed elder's original body before he spoke coldly. With his divine sense, there was naturally no doppelganger or illusion that could hide from his eyes. With that said, his figure flashed and he flew towards one of the clones. He grabbed at the air with one hand and Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light appeared in his hand. He held onto Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch with both hands, and his aura surged to the extreme. He was at the first sky of the Martial Saint realm, but his strength and aura were something that even an 8th or 9th sky Martial Saint could not compare to. Instantly, the space began to tremble rapidly. Tian stared coldly at the black-robed elder's flying figure as a cruel expression appeared on his face. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch in his hand also unleashed a destructive force. The space trembled and tore apart. Chapter 792. Killing the Martial God, 1. Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch. 11 With a soft shout, the Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch in his hand fiercely struck out into the distance. Instantly, a hole was torn in space. Seeing this power, the black-robed old man's eyes revealed a shocked expression. The destructive tearing power also carried the power to burn the sky. Tian was a Martial Saint powerhouse, yet the power of Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch was beyond the scope of a Martial Saint. Even a Martial God powerhouse could not achieve such power. Naturally, it was impossible for him to know about the might of Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch. He could explode with twice the strength and speed. When he saw this power, he was shocked. The clone circulated his true essence and swung the weapon in his hand fiercely, but it was already too late. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch's speed was extremely fast. Coupled with his double speed, his power reached its peak after devouring Tian's quintessential essence. By the time he unleashed his weapon, Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch's destructive power had already struck him with raging flames. Boom! With a shocking explosion, the destructive power landed on the black-robed old man's clone from a distance of 50 miles. Ah! Rumble! A miserable cry sounded. The black-robed old man's clone's face was filled with pain, and his eyes revealed a look of despair. At the same time, there was an explosion. The black-robed elder's clone turned into nothingness and disappeared from the world. The black-robed old man spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with despair and pain. The clone was formed by his cultivation. When the clone died, he was heavily injured. Frost sorrow. At this moment, the snow goddess also made her move. The ice sculpture waved a strange weapon in her hand. Suddenly, the space froze as if time had stopped. All the experts were stunned at this moment. Their expressions did not change at all, as if time had stopped. Even her movements and expression froze at this moment. Only Tian had a faint smile on his face as he walked through the space step by step until he reached the top of the mountain. When he reached the top, the dull stillness of the space finally disappeared. Kacha! Walala! At this moment, the blade in the ice sculpture's hand had already struck the black-robed old man's body, instantly turning the black-robed old man into an ice sculpture. However, the ice sculpture instantly exploded and turned into pieces. The black-robed elder also turned into pieces. Simple, fast, and domineering. The space was restored. None of the experts knew what had just happened. However, the black-robed old man had already died. He had died so simply and directly. In front of the ice sculpture of the ice goddess clone, the martial god's realm was like an ant that could be easily killed. When Tian saw the situation, he was shocked beyond words. The ice goddess clone was only 1/10,000th of its original form, and yet, a sliver of her consciousness was already so terrifying. It had directly killed the war god. If it was the real ice goddess, who knew how powerful she would be? Roar! At that moment, a loud roar came from afar. The gorilla demon's figure quickly appeared in Tian's line of sight. If the black-robed elder's original body was destroyed, his clone would naturally disappear as well. The two clones and the original body had disappeared in the blink of an eye. All of this was beyond the imagination of all the experts. The originally powerful and invincible martial god expert had actually fallen just like that. In fact, Tian and the snow goddess knew best that the martial god's clone and the original body were extremely powerful. However, Tian had killed the martial god's clone in one move, causing the black-robed elder's strength to be greatly reduced. He was also distracted. Taking advantage of this moment, the ice sculpture strangely appeared, stopped time, and killed the black-robed old man with a single strike. Not bad. With a faint smile on his face, Tian spoke to the ice sculpture in a confident and casual tone. Humph. I didn't expect your cultivation to improve so quickly in a year's time. Ben Gong is leaving. The ice sculpture looked at Tian and spoke coldly. With that, the ice sculpture quickly disappeared into the world. At the same time, the frost between heaven and earth quickly disappeared, and the sky returned to its original state. Thank you. When I come to the upper realm, I look for the goddess to thank her. Tian looked into the void with a smile on his face as he spoke in a godly manner. In the eyes of the other powerhouses, Tian was merely joking. After all, Tian was only a martial saint now. It was impossible for him to ascend to the upper realm. He had to at least reach the martial god realm. Moreover, no one had ascended to the upper realm in the divine martial continent for countless years. It was extremely difficult to ascend to the upper realm. There was no sound in the void. The entire space was extremely quiet. However, in the endless depths of the void, a white-robed woman sat cross-legged in a palace. Her entire body emitted an icy aura. Her beautiful face made people's hearts tremble. There was also a feeling of being out of the world. She was like a goddess. However, at this moment, the woman's expression was calm. A bitter smile appeared on her lips as she looked around the palace. A strange and mysterious aura was emitted from the empty hall, suppressing the white-robed woman. It's impossible for me to see you in this lifetime. The heavenly Tao is the reincarnation of fate. No one in this world can shake the wheel of fate. Unless you can shake the heavenly Tao and change your fate. The woman in white's red lips moved as she muttered to herself. Her voice was so soft that only she could hear it. Just as the voice fell, a terrifying divine might descended. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of the white-robed woman's mouth. There was a trace of a smile on her face, but this smile was a bitter smile. Auspicious clouds filled the sky above Xiaoyao sacred city. The entire space was filled with auspicious clouds. Tian was suspended in the air while the gorilla demon was suspended in the air as well, awaiting Lingshan's instructions. At that moment, Lingshan's gaze was on Yuan AoTian and his companion. Both of them had completely transformed and reached the martial god realm. However, they still needed to stabilize their realms during this period of time. Below, the experts of Xiaoyao Shang were all extremely excited. Tian had once again killed a martial god and easily killed a martial god powerhouse. The last time Tian killed Pathless, it was a shock. However, at that time, all the powerhouses thought that Tian had unleashed his heaven-defying strength for Liberty Sacred City and survival. They did not have the ability to kill the martial god. Hence, they did not doubt Tian's strength, but he was definitely not a match for the martial god. Now, Tian had once again killed the martial god and even scared away the level 1 tier 9 Umbra beast. In the end, the martial god powerhouse produced 2 clones while Tian produced a terrifying tier 9 mystical beast and summoned another clone of the snow goddess. Tian had never stopped using such methods. Countless powerhouses looked at Tian as if he was a mystery. In any case, Tian had managed to kill the second martial god powerhouse. He was powerful and had many tricks up his sleeve. The people in Liberty Holy City were cheering non-stop. With a powerful and heaven-defying master, Liberty Holy City was destined to become heaven-defying and powerful. Half an hour later, Tian recalled the gorilla demon and returned to the mountaintop. He then stored the treasures into the divine dragon ring. Thank you, young master. This subordinate thanks young master for your help. Yuan AoTian and Tian Chengzi waited for Tian to return to the mountaintop. With excited expressions on their faces, they approached Tian and gave him a deep bow. Now that they had become martial gods, their cultivation had reached the highest point in their lives. However, they could never forget Tian. Without Li Lingtian, they would not have achieved anything. Without Li Lingshan's protection, even if they defied the heavens, they would still be killed by the powerhouses. They did not dare to be arrogant in front of Li Lingtian just because they had reached martial god realm. On the contrary, they respected Li Lingtian even more since they were able to become martial gods. Li Lingtian could help them, but he could also destroy them. They had just witnessed that Li Lingshan's strength was enough to kill both of them. I will confine this space. Try to absorb the auspicious cloud as soon as possible. Li Lingtian nodded. He was extremely satisfied with the duo's successful advancement to martial god powerhouses. This was because these two martial gods were created by him. If his two subordinates were strong, he would not have to do it himself in the future. This way he could cultivate in peace. After saying that, he cast a mysterious array to confine the top of the mountain. It was impossible for outsiders to enter. After doing everything, the two of them began to absorb the auspicious clouds in the sky. Li Lingtian did not leave the mountain peak either. Instead, he stayed halfway up the mountain and guided the alchemists below to refine pills. The spirit alchemists were extremely excited about Li Lingshan's personal guidance on alchemy. Li Lingshan's alchemy Tao was so powerful that he was known as the Divine Martial Continent's #1 alchemy saint. With such an alchemy expert's guidance, it would be of great help to the improvement of alchemy in the future. After 5 days, the auspicious clouds in the sky were completely absorbed by the two of them. Li Lingtian left the mountain peak and returned to his cultivation spot after seeing the auspicious clouds in the sky being absorbed. Yuan, AoTian and Tian Chengzi also left the mountaintop and returned to the depths of the palace to cultivate and stabilize their realms. This way, they could seek Li Lingshan's guidance if they had any problems with their cultivation. Big brother Lingtian. Tang Ziming was elated when Li Lingtian returned to his cultivation spot. This time, Li Lingtian had spent a lot of time helping Yuan, AoTian and the other man to achieve a breakthrough. Furthermore, he had even managed to kill a martial god powerhouse in the end. Half a month had passed since then. Naturally, she missed Li Lingtian. Yes. Are your sisters cultivating? Li Lingtian asked curiously when he saw that Tang Ziming was alone and there were no other girls around. Usually they wouldn't all cultivate. At most, there would be 2 or 3 of them outside. However, Tang Ziming was the only one there this time. Naturally, Li Lingtian was curious. Yes, they have been cultivating these days. Only Sister Yuan and I are outside. Sister Yuan is dealing with the cannon. Tang Ziming tugged at Li Lingshan's arm, thinking that she was beside him. She pouted her little mouth and smiled coquettishly. Chapter 793. Celebration 1. Oh, you're the only lazy one. Li Lingtian glanced at Tang Ziming with a faint smile on his lips. He reached out and pinched Tang Ziming's cheek. Her smooth and tender skin was so soft that it could break. I'm not a lazy worm. I just finished cultivating. Tang Ziming smiled as she spoke. She looked up and allowed Li Lingtian to caress her face. Her alluring appearance made Li Lingshan's heart burn with desire. He wished he could execute her right there and then. However, this was obviously not the time. The two of them then went to a pavilion in the palace and sat down. Tang Ziming leaned against Li Lingtian and listened to him talk about Yuan, AoTian and his partner's breakthrough. Initially, she did not want to care about such matters. However, this was a force that Li Lingtian had nurtured. Naturally, she had to care about it. Besides, being with Li Lingtian was the happiest thing in the world. Alright, big brother Lingtian, do you think they know about Yuan, AoTian's breakthrough? Tang Ziming asked after Li Lingtian had finished speaking. Li Lingtian had specifically asked the spirit alchemist to refine pills to conceal the signs of Yuan, AoTian and Yuan Xiaoshan's breakthrough. He did not want others to know that Yuan, AoTian and Yuan Xiaotian were breaking through to the martial god realm. However, in the end, a martial god expert appeared, and it was targeted at Yuan, AoTian and the other two. The timing was also at the critical moment when the two of them were breaking through. I know I should know. This black-robed martial god chose to attack when Yuan, AoTian and the other man were about to break through. He probably knew that they were about to break through. This way, he could disrupt their breakthrough and cause a destructive blow to me. However, I can't rule out the possibility that the black-robed martial god treated Yuan AoTian and the other two as chess pieces. Their breakthrough became an opportunity for the black-robed martial god to attack me. Now that the two of them have broken through, the core strength of Liberty Holy City has greatly increased. With me, the gorilla demon, and you guys working together, we have 5 martial god experts on our side. In the Mystic Moon Empire, very few can fight against us. Even so, the most important thing for us is to strengthen our cultivation. Only when we are strong will we be able to truly protect ourselves. Tian analyzed the current situation and thought about his current forces before he spoke slowly. Regardless of whether Yuan AoTian and Tian Chengzi's breakthrough was discovered, it was no longer important as countless citizens and powerhouses in Liberty Holy City knew of Li Lingshan's abilities. They knew that Tian had a Tier 9 Level 9 mystical beast and that he could summon the snow goddess clone that killed the martial god. Now, they were about to make their move. After the canon ended, the free and unfettered empire would attack the other kingdoms, unify them, and then invade the Mystic Moon Empire. Fight with the Mystic Moon Empire and take over the world. More importantly, he saw the girl he hadn't seen for a long time. He had a very important person in his heart, Yuan Yaoyao. This person would never be forgotten in his heart and would only become more and more important. In his heart, Yuan Yaoyao was very important. Yuan Yaoyao was the closest person to him other than Tang Ziming at that time. She was also his savior. If it weren't for Yuan Yaoyao, he didn't know what he would have become or become a delicious meal for the demon beasts. There had been no news of Yuan Yaoyao, but now that he had some clues, he wouldn't give up so easily. He had to unite the kingdoms under the Mystic Moon Empire and then go see the girl in white. Big brother Tian's right. We have to hurry up and cultivate as well. We can't rely on outsiders. When it's truly a crucial moment, we still need to rely on ourselves. Only big brother Tian and us are true family. Tang Ziming nodded repeatedly as she listened to Li Lingshan's words. In this world the strong were respected. Only when one was strong enough could one be assured. Without one's own strength, even the most loyal of subordinates would leave one. The two of them chatted for a while before Li Tian brought Tang Ziming to play in the garden. That night, Tang Ziming and Huangfu Yuan accompanied Li Tian. In the next few days, Li Tian cultivated as usual. He would occasionally visit Yuan AoTian and his partner in the underground secret chamber deep within the palace. Their cultivation was at its most critical juncture and they could not be disturbed. The basement was the quietest. This place was where the ancestor of the Moonsong Kingdom used to cultivate, and now it had become the place where Yuan AoTian and the others cultivated. As time passed, their realms quickly stabilized. A few days passed. Liberty Saint City was extremely lively. The entire city was overcrowded. Since Liberty Sacred City was hosting the sacred alchemy ceremony, Li Tian had successfully attained the Tier 8 Divine Alchemy and became the 4th Divine Alchemy Master in the Xian continent. He was also the top Divine Alchemy Master in the Xian continent and even the Divine Martial continent. Furthermore, this Saint Alchemist was a legendary figure and a miracle in the Divine Martial continent. Li Lingshan's life was full of legendary colors. The establishment of the Xiaoyao dynasty in Xianzhou had led to Li Lingshan's heaven-defying rise. He had become a martial saint at the age of 24 or 25 and a level 8 divine alchemist. His cultivation was at the martial sage realm, and his strength was comparable to a martial god realm expert. He had killed 2 martial god realm experts in a row. The pills refined by a level 8 saint alchemist were all of peerless quality. Moreover, there was a 50% chance of attracting a pill tribulation and achieving a pill mutation. No one in the entire divine martial continent could achieve such an achievement. There was no need to talk about mutation as it required luck. However, the pills refined by Li Tian were all peerless grade. This was what shook the world. The quality of peerless grade pills and mutation were almost the same. Li Tian had already become a benchmark in alchemy, a legend and a miracle. Liberty Saint City was the capital of the Liberty Empire. Although there were no 6th or 7th heaven martial saint experts here, there were fake martial god experts like Yuan AoTian and Tian Chengzi. Moreover, Li Lingshan's strength was so astounding that even the martial god would not be able to return. The entire Xiaoyao sacred city was decorated with lanterns and streamers, and it was filled with a festive atmosphere. In the past, the citizens of Liberty's sacred city were extremely afraid of martial supremes, martial emperors, and martial saints. There were no 6th or 7th sky martial saint realm experts. Now, the experts who entered Liberty's sacred city were all above martial emperor realm. Moreover, every one of them was a powerful expert. Moreover, most of them were martial saint powerhouses. One could easily see a 9th heavenly layer martial saint powerhouse. Seeing these experts, the citizens of Liberty's sacred city were already numb. They were also not afraid because these experts were here to participate in their young master's celebration. Moreover, they were shocked when they saw how restrained these martial saint powerhouses were when they arrived at Liberty's sacred city. However, it was only natural that they did so because Tian was here. No matter how heaven-defying a powerhouse was, they were nothing but ants in front of Tian. Seeing the previously heaven-defying experts behave themselves in Liberty Holy City, the citizens of Liberty Holy City also felt calm. After all the experts arrived at Liberty Sacred City, they were extremely surprised to feel the prosperity of Liberty Sacred City. In just a few short years, Liberty Sacred City had become countless times stronger than the Moonsong capital city of the past. Even the people were so calm. Moreover, Liberty Holy City had become the most popular place in the Mystic Moon Empire because of the existence of level 8 Super Saint Alchemist Tian. All the powerhouses of the Carefree Sacred City had sorted out the place on the Carefree Square. This was because the celebration was held here. When the day arrived, Carefree Square was packed with people. However, in the middle of the square, there were 10,000 tables. All the invited experts were gathered here, waiting for the celebration to begin. In fact, in the Divine Martial Continent, a super celebration was nothing more than an announcement to the world, letting the world's experts know that a certain person had achieved a certain achievement. This time, the one who presided over the canon was also an expert from Xiaoyao Imperial Palace. Yuan Xiaofeng of the Free and Unfettered Sacred City welcomes all of you on behalf of the Free and Unfettered Sacred City. This time, His Excellency Tian from Liberty Sacred City has become a level 8 Saint Alchemist. I hope that everyone can give me some pointers. It was noon. In the square of Liberty Sacred City, all the experts had already taken their seats. There were tens of thousands of experts, but at this time, they were extremely quiet, sitting on the chairs like obedient babies. At this moment, a middle-aged man at the 5th sky of the Martial Saint realm walked up the tall steps in the square and said loudly. After he finished speaking, he cupped his fists and bowed to all the experts. He could be considered to be representing Liberty Sacred City. However, after Yuan Xiaofeng bowed, all the experts stood up and returned the bow. At this moment, even the 9th heavenly layer of the Martial Saint realm and the pseudo-martial god realm did not dare to bow in front of Yuan Xiaofeng. After all, Yuan Xiaofeng represented Liberty Holy City. What kind of status Liberty Holy City had was the existence of a Saint Alchemist. At the same time, all the experts smiled bitterly in their hearts. Who would dare to give pointers? What pointers were there? Tian was the Divine Martial Continent's #1 super divine alchemist. He was already the #1 divine alchemist in terms of refining peerless mutated pills. No one could compare to him in terms of alchemy. Now, let's welcome our Liberty Sacred City's young master, level 8 Saint Alchemist, His Excellency Tian. Yuan Xiaofeng knew that Tian did not want to be entangled with these powerhouses and it was beneath him to deal with them. Naturally, he did not want to stay idle for too long. Therefore, Tian only needed to come out and meet him. Immediately after, Yuan Xiaofeng cupped his fists and bowed in the direction of the depths of Liberty Sacred City. His expression was respectful to Yu Cheng, and his expression was filled with worship. At that moment, all the powerhouses who had been sitting down quickly stood up when they heard Li Lingshan's appearance. Instantly, all the experts in the square became extremely quiet. They stood up in unison and looked in the direction of the depths of Liberty Sacred City. Swoosh! At this moment, the people on the plaza of Liberty Sacred City and the people near the plaza all half-knelt in unison. Looking at the citizens of the Free and Unfettered Sacred City, all the experts were shocked. This was the charm of an expert. Li Lingshan's cohesiveness had already reached such a level. As a ruler, there was nothing he could not do. In the sky, a white-robed young man walked over slowly. His white clothes fluttered in the wind as if he had descended from the 9 heavens. His entire person was extremely carefree. There was a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, and his face was calm and relaxed. His temperament was elegant and extraordinary, like a super mighty person who did not eat the mortal world. Chapter 794. Celebration 2. Instantly, countless powerhouses were stunned by Li Lingshan's appearance. A question mark appeared in his heart. This was the ruler of Liberty Sacred City, a level 8 pill saint, and the number 1 pill saint of the divine martial continent, His Excellency Ling Tian? How could that be possible? It would be acceptable if the young man in white was a young master from an aristocratic family. However, Li Ling Tian could not believe that he was the one who killed a martial god powerhouse and refined a level 8 mutated peerless pill. This unrestrained and elegant, this age and temperament, completely had nothing to do with a saint alchemist or a powerhouse. However, it did not take long for them to realize that the young man was Li Ling Tian. Greetings, young lord. Greetings, young Master D. Greetings, Alchemy Saint. On the Liberty Square, all the citizens and experts of Liberty Sacred City greeted him respectfully. He greeted the white-robed young man in the air with a respectful and worshipful expression. There was no trace of hypocrisy or response. Greetings, Alchemy Saint Ling Tian. Greetings, Alchemy Saint Ling Tian. Greetings, Alchemy Saint Ling Tian. All of a sudden, all the powerhouses understood that the white-robed young man was the legendary miracle, level 8 super divine alchemist, heaven-defying monster Li Ling Tian. After understanding the situation, they greeted Li Ling Tian with a bow. When they found out that the young man in front of them was Li Ling Tian, all the powerhouses felt a sense of pressure as if they were being weighed down by thousands of pounds. Li Lingshan's reputation and dominance shook the heavens. Even if the powerhouses present were overlords or unruly superpowers, they were nothing in front of Li Ling Tian. Li Ling Tian waved his hand casually with the same smile on his face. All the powerhouses bowed and took their seats, but their eyes were fixed on the young man who was approaching from the void. She looked at Li Ling Tian in disbelief. They just couldn't tell that even if this young man started cultivating in his mother's womb, it was impossible for him to be so powerful. It was also impossible for his alchemy Dao to be so heaven-defying. Naturally, Li Ling Tian could see the shock in the powerhouse's eyes, but he did not feel the slightest fluctuation in his heart. With his status and identity, there was no need for him to understand these powerhouses. His identity and status naturally shocked countless experts. Yuan Xiaofeng bowed respectfully when he arrived at the high platform. He then invited Li Ling Tian to a seat in the center. Welcome to Liberty Sacred City, sirs. I thank you for coming. After Li Ling Tian took his seat, he spoke with a smile on his face. His expression was calm and collected as he swept his gaze across all the experts. Wherever his gaze passed, all of them lowered their noble heads. Following that, Li Ling Tian looked into the void with a smile on his face. All the powerhouses looked at Li Ling Tian in confusion. However, she soon understood Li Lingshan's gaze. Tian Qing of the Mystic Moon Empire greets you, Pill Saint. An ethereal voice rang out. The voice came from 1,000 miles away, but when the voice fell, a faint shadow had already appeared in everyone's sight. After a short while, the shadow turned into a real body, and an old man with white hair and beard arrived above Carefree Square. The old man's entire body emitted a powerful aura, but the aura on his body was very stable. He was an expert who cultivated both fire and wood elements. He was an 8th heaven martial saint. The Mystic Moon Empire's heavenly azure saint alchemist. It's the saint alchemist, His Excellency Tian Qing. Your Excellency Azure is here as well. The Mystic Moon Empire saint alchemist, Tian Qing, has also come. Instantly, all the experts cried out in surprise. Although they had never seen this old man before, this name was like thunder in their ears. In the Mystic Moon Empire, Saint Alchemist Azure's reputation was definitely one of the best. The status of a Saint Alchemist was known by everyone in an empire. Now, he did not expect the holy alchemist Tian Qing of the Mystic Moon Empire to come and celebrate Li Ling Tian. It was a testament to Li Lingshan's reputation and strength. Welcome, Your Excellency Tian Qing. Your Excellency Tian Qing has arrived at Liberty Saint City. Please forgive me for not welcoming you. Li Lingtian stood up with a faint smile on his face as he cupped his fists and greeted the elderly man in the air. He didn't need to get up, but the other party was a Pill Divine Master, the only Pill Divine Master in the Mystic Moon Empire. He couldn't put on airs. Haha, Sir Lingtian, please forgive me. Your Excellency Lingtian's alchemy Dao is unparalleled and you're the strongest in my alchemy Dao. I'm also here to seek your guidance. Tian Qing looked at Li Lingtian in shock. Li Lingshan's age and temperament had completely exceeded his expectations. He had long known that Li Lingtian was young and powerful. However, he did not expect Li Lingtian to be so young. He was only in his 20s. At such a young age, other powerhouses would only be martial arts grandmasters. Yet, Li Lingtian had become a super divine alchemist. His strength was comparable to a martial god and he was already standing at the top of the continent. He was impressed by Li Lingshan's way of handling things. He did not put on airs at all. Such a powerhouse was the most terrifying. It is Lingtian's honor to be able to communicate with you. Your Excellency Tian Qing. Please take a seat. Li Lingtian made an inviting gesture as he spoke calmly. Then the two of them sat down at the same time, and all the experts followed suit. However, when all the experts were seated, another voice came from the sky. Sir Lingtian, congratulations. Old friend Tian Qing. I didn't expect you to arrive first. A loud and clear voice rang out. The voice was like thunder, causing countless experts to feel their hearts tremble. Hearing the tone and address of this voice, countless experts were shocked again. Someone who could address Tian Qing as Old Buddy One was definitely not an ordinary person. Moreover, Li Lingshan's celebration must have been a very important event since it had come at this time. All the experts looked at the sky. An old man in dark blue clothes appeared in the sky. Lingtian welcomes the Heavenly Sun Empire's His Excellency Yu Tian. Li Lingtian stood up and all the powerhouses followed suit. Anyone who could make Li Lingtian stand up to welcome them must be extraordinary. When they heard Li Lingshan's address, all the powerhouses were shocked once again with a horrified expression on their faces. The presence of the only divine alchemist in the Heavenly Sun Empire was enough to prove Li Lingshan's honor. Haha, thank you, Sir Lingtian. Royal looked at Li Lingtian and sized him up. He then smiled and sat down beside Tian Qing. She was shocked. She did not expect Li Lingtian to be a young man when she met him for the first time. However, at his level of cultivation, he would no longer judge people by their looks. This was because they understood that one could not judge a book by its cover. If they were to look at this young man, they would not even know how they died. The arrival of the two alchemy saint masters shocked all the powerhouses. In the past, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to see a saint alchemist. There were not 3 saint alchemist powerhouses gathered today. For a moment, the entire carefree square was extremely lively. After a full 5 minutes, Li Lingshan's expression froze for a moment before a faint smile appeared on his lips. Welcome, Your Excellency Gongsun Piaoyu of the Sky Blue Empire, to Liberty Sacred City. Li Lingtian shouted in unison with a calm expression on his face. His voice traveled thousands of miles away. Your Excellency Gongsun Piaoyu of the Sky Blue Empire? Level 8 Saint Alchemist Gongsun Piaoyu? The Sky Blue Empire's Lord Drifting Rain is here as well. It can't be. Gongsun Piaoyu of the Sky Blue Empire is a level 8 pill saint. Upon hearing Li Lingshan's voice, the crowd exclaimed in surprise. The Sky Blue Empire was billions of miles away from the Mystic Moon Empire. Furthermore, Gongsun Piaoyu was a saint alchemist from the Sky Blue Empire. She was the only level 8 saint alchemist in the Mystic Continent before Li Lingtian appeared. If Gongsun Piaoyu from the Sky Blue Empire were to travel hundreds of millions of miles, Li Lingshan's reputation and status in Liberty Holy City would be unparalleled. Just as all the experts were in shock, a voice in the air cleared their doubts. Haha, I am Gongsun Piaoyu. Congratulations. Sir Lingtian. Tian Qing Yu Tian. You two old fellows came earlier than Drifting Rain. A calm voice sounded in the air. When this voice sounded, everyone was stunned. Even Tian Qing and Yu Tian were stunned. This was because the voice sounded very young, like the voice of a youth. However, as soon as the voice fell, a grid appeared in the void. The scarlet grid quickly spread in the air. The original red dot became a 100-mile-wide grid. Seeing this grid, all the experts understood that this was a cross-realm formation. When Tian saw the grid, he was shocked as well. At the same time, he felt a wave of pressure. Soon, a young man appeared on the grid. The young man was dressed in green and looked extremely dashing. He was not inferior to Tian. Upon seeing this figure, all the powerhouses were stunned. Could this youth be the Sky Blue Empire's level 8 Saint Alchemist, Gongsun Piaoyu? Haha, Your Excellency, drifting rain has graced the city with your presence. Tian reacted quickly with the same smile on his face. However, he was shocked. This young man was emitting a powerful aura, the aura of the alchemy Tao and the aura of the pseudo-martial god. Moreover, this young man also had the aura of the array Tao. In other words, this cross-realm array was cast by the young man himself. Array Tao, alchemy Tao, martial Tao. He possessed 3 Tao and was a heaven-defying and monstrous expert. At the same time, all the experts in the Carefree Square were shocked. This young man was definitely a heaven-defying monster in the Black Continent. With the existence of the false martial god and the alchemy Tao and array Tao, it was not an exaggeration to say that he was the #1 genius of the Black Continent. You're too polite, Sir Tian. You're already a level 8 super alchemy saint at such a young age. This is a blessing for the Xian continent, the divine martial continent, and all the martial artists in the world. Gongsun Piaoyu's figure landed, and the grid in the sky disappeared. Upon arriving at the plaza, he cupped his fists and bowed to Tian with a calm expression. Then, he sat down next to Tian Qing and Tian and smiled at them. He looked extremely confident. This elegant temperament had convinced countless experts. Chapter 795. Yuan arrives. The square was suddenly in an uproar. The 4 great alchemy saint masters of the Xian continent had gathered together. This was Lieutenant Lingshan's grand ceremony to prove his Tao as a divine alchemist. It was also a grand gathering for the 4 great divine alchemists. Among the 4 great divine alchemists, Lingshan's alchemy Tao was the strongest and he was able to refine a peerless mutated pill. However, there was another saint alchemist who was also powerful and heaven-defying. That was Gongsun Piaoyu of the Sky Blue Empire. The appearance of Gongsun Piaoyu shocked all the experts in the Carefree Square. This Gongsun Piaoyu was famous in the Sky Blue Empire and was also the #1 alchemy saint in the Black Continent. However, not many people had seen Gongsun Piaoyu before. He didn't expect Gongsun Piaoyu to be so young. Moreover, his cultivation was so profound and terrifying. In addition to his array Tao and alchemy Tao, Gongsun Piaoyu could be said to be the #1 genius in the Black Continent. With Tian and Gongsun Piaoyu's heaven-defying talents gathered in Carefree Square, how could these powerhouses not be shocked? Tian had a faint smile on his face. The corner of his mouth revealed a hint of undetectable killing intent because he could sense Gongsun Piaoyu's killing intent. Gongsun Piaoyu was here to steal his limelight. Sir Tian is known as the #1 alchemy saint in the Black Continent. I'm really curious and would like to see the pills that Sir Tian refines. I wonder if Sir Tian would be willing to let me have a look? When Gongsun Piaoyu saw Tian, he was shocked as well. However, to achieve his level of achievement, his joy and anger were invisible and would not show on his face. He kept sizing up Tian. Although he was only 24 or 25 years old, he had already attained the martial sage realm. Although his cultivation was much lower than the others, Lingshan's strength was terrifying. He was originally known as the #1 alchemy saint in the Xian continent, but he did not expect Tian to steal his title. He had come personally to meet Sir Tian. When he spoke, although his tone was calm, it gave off a feeling that no one could resist. He did not believe that Tian could defeat a pseudo-martial god no matter how powerful he was. Ha ha. Before Tian could speak, a burst of laughter rang out in the air. The voice was loud and clear, but it was as loud as thunder, causing countless powerhouses' eardrums to hurt. Hearing this laughter, countless experts were shocked. They didn't expect that someone would dare to behave atrociously in this place. It should be known that the experts of Liberty Saint City were gathered here. The 4 Saint Alchemists were also gathered here. It could be said that most of the important figures of the Xian continent were gathered here. If it weren't for someone with a super status, this laughter would have been provocative. Sir Ling Tian, I haven't seen you for many years. I didn't expect to see you again in the Black Continent. In just a few short years, you've already become a level 8 alchemy saint. Truly unexpected. After the laughter in the air died down, a grid immediately appeared. Another grid. The appearance of this grid meant that an expert had crossed over. An expert who could cross over was definitely not an ordinary person. In the square, all the experts looked at the grid. In the grid, a figure appeared. However, another person appeared behind this figure. It was an old man. All the powerhouses were curious as they did not recognize the 2 men. However, Li Lingshan's face revealed a faint smile that was tinged with excitement as if he was meeting an old friend. Your Excellency Pill Master Yuan, long time no see. I didn't expect Pill Master Yuansheng to be in the Black Continent as well. This is really unexpected. The 2 of them descended from the sky. The old man approached Li Lingtian with an excited smile on his face. The middle-aged warrior who was with him scanned the square. That's right. It was Yuan, the holy alchemist whom Li Lingtian had met in the Tsang state. The 2 of them had a good relationship. However, after parting ways in Jiuyoming City, the 2 of them never contacted each other again. They didn't expect to meet again in Shenzhou. Apothecary Yuansheng was a member of the Alchemist Guild and had a very high status in the guild. In the entire Divine Martial Continent, all the experts would give him some face. I didn't think that Sir Ling Tian would really reach the level of a pill saint. Furthermore, he's a level 8 pill saint. I knew that Sir Ling Tian's future was limitless, but I didn't expect this day to come so quickly. Come, let me introduce you. This is the 7th commander of the Alchemist Guild's guards, the Ask the Heavens Pavilion. The smile on Alchemy Master Yuan's face widened. Although they had only met once, they had a good impression of Li Lingtian. He did not expect Li Lingtian to become a level 8 divine alchemist so quickly. He was overjoyed. He had come to Shenzhou in search of a medicinal ingredient. However, he was shocked when he heard that Li Lingtian had attained the level 8 divine alchemist realm. He did not expect Li Lingtian to come to Shenzhou and become a level 8 divine alchemist. However, although there were many people with the same name, there were only a few who possessed such powerful alchemy skills. With the same name and alchemy skills, he was certain that it was Li Lingtian. After asking around, they confirmed that Li Lingtian was the young man they met in Songzhou. He had rushed all the way here and even used the cross-realm formation in the end. As he spoke, he pointed at the middle-aged man behind him with a serious expression. After all, his cultivation had just reached the martial monarch realm. In places like the Black Continent, martial monarch realm was nothing. Even if he was a saint alchemist, he was still worried that some ignorant people would attack him. The alchemists in the Alchemist Guild were powerful in alchemy, but their cultivation was not high. However, there were countless experts who followed the alchemists. It was not surprising that there was a heaven-defying expert beside a saint alchemist. Greetings, Sir Ling Tian. Ask Sky took a step forward and cupped his fists at Li Lingtian with a look of surprise in his eyes. As a martial god powerhouse, even though he was a first firmament martial god, he felt threatened by Li Lingtian. He didn't understand what kind of ability this young man had. A mere first Sky of the martial saint realm could make him, a martial god realm expert, feel threatened. This puzzled him. However, no matter what, a level 8 super alchemy saint who could refine a peerless grade mutated pill was a super figure. In the Alchemist Guild, he was also one of the few super figures. As a guard of the Alchemist Guild, he was naturally incomparably respectful towards alchemy saint masters. Therefore, he took the lead and bowed to Li Lingtian. Sir Wentian, there's no need to be so polite. Li Lingtian smiled with a calm expression on his face. He then gestured for them to sit down. It had only been 10 seconds since Grandmaster Yuan appeared. During this period of time, all the experts were stunned. As they watched Li Lingtian and Apothecary Yuansheng's conversation, they realized that the old man was a super figure in the Alchemist Guild. Furthermore, Apothecary Yuansheng's father was a vice president. This identity could be considered a super figure in the divine martial continent. Grandmaster Yuan. Pill Master Guild's Pill Master Yuan. I didn't expect Alchemy Master Yuan to come to the Black Continent. Your Excellency Pill Master Yuan. All of a sudden, all the experts were discussing animatedly. Even Gong Sun Piaoyu stood up to greet Grandmaster Yuan. Tian Qing and Tian stood up to greet him as well. They were utterly shocked that Tian had such a backer. They were Pill Saint Masters and members of the Pill Master Guild, but they had never come into contact with a person of status like Pill Saint Yuan. A spirit alchemist and a saint alchemist were nothing in front of the Alchemist Guild. Similarly, Gong Sun Piaoyu was puzzled as to why Tian knew Alchemist Yuan Shang. He was definitely one of the top 10 alchemists in the Alchemist Guild. Everyone, you're too polite. I'm only here to congratulate my good friend, Sir Tian. I'm also here to take a look at the medicinal pill that Sir Tian refined. Furthermore, I've brought the blessings of the Alchemist Guild's Elder Committee. When Pill Master Yuan saw that all the experts were greeting him with fawning expressions, his expression immediately became serious as he spoke seriously. His voice also carried a trace of coldness. For a person like him, with such an identity, there was no need to worry about offending anyone. Naturally, he would not allow himself to steal Lingshan's limelight by congratulating him. As he spoke, he looked at Tian with a bitter smile on his face. Naturally, Tian understood what that bitter smile meant. Haha, thank you Sir Yuan. This is the pill I refined. Please check and taste it. Tian smiled sincerely. Even though he had only met Grandmaster Yuan once, he had a good impression of this person. He could be considered a real person for being considerate of him at this time. With that, he activated his divine sense and a jade screen appeared in front of him. Then, he waved his hand and the jade bottle flew towards Grandmaster Yuan. Apothecary Yuan held the jade bottle seriously with an excited expression on his face. Even though he had not personally seen the grade 8 pills in Lingshan's jade bottle, he knew Lingshan's character and style of handling matters with one hand. He would never do anything he was not confident in. He also understood that the jade bottle contained a Tier 8 elixir. He had seen many Tier 8 elixirs but he had never seen one refined by Tian. All of a sudden, all the powerhouses were looking at the jade bottle in Alchemist Yuan's hand. They were eager to witness Lingshan's heaven-defying elixir. Ding! Under the expectant gazes of all the experts, the jade bottle was opened. A clear sound rang out. All the experts stared at the jade bottle as their hearts pounded non-stop. The jade bottle was opened. Instantly, all the experts within a radius of 1,000 meters were attracted by a fragrance. This fragrance completely surpassed the medicinal fragrance of ordinary medicinal pills. Instead, it was a kind of fragrance that made one's spirit rouse. A good medicinal pill could be seen from the medicinal fragrance, color, and quality. When they smelled this fragrance, they all revealed an intoxicated expression. This was a Tier 8 medicinal pill. Even a martial saint expert would rarely use a Tier 8 medicinal pill unless they were trying to find a Tier 8 medicinal pill when they were trying to break through to the next realm. Chapter 796. The First Pill Saint. So, with a sound of wind, a pill flew out of the jade bottle. Instantly, everyone's eyes shifted to the medicinal pill at this time. This medicinal pill was like a peerless treasure. The pill was only the size of a thumb, but it emitted a faint halo. Moreover, there were countless array formations on it. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the air, the medicinal pill danced like a lively child. Traces of spirituality were emitted from the medicinal pill. For a moment, all the experts were stunned. His eyes were filled with shock, envy, and greed. Spirituality, powerful spirituality. This is the characteristic of a Tier 8 medicinal pill. It's not something that a Tier 7 medicinal pill can compare to at all. This spirituality has already reached the Tier 8 level. Grandmaster Yuan looked at the pill in the air and inhaled the medicinal fragrance. After a while she opened her eyes. Then, he said indifferently, and his face could not help but reveal an excited expression. Not bad. This spirituality has already reached the level of a Tier 8 medicinal pill. Indeed, only a level 8 Saint Alchemist can refine a medicinal pill with such spirituality. This is a hurdle that I can only hope to reach. It is indeed a Tier 8 medicinal pill. Gong Sun Piaoyu also revealed an intoxicated expression. His arrival shocked all the experts and stole countless limelight. No matter what the reason was, whether it was jealousy, unwillingness, or something else. However, when he saw the truly powerful medicinal pill, he had to admit that this medicinal pill was powerful. Because he was a true alchemy genius. Only alchemy experts understood the difficulty of alchemy. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to make any progress. Tian Qjng and AoTian were also talking seriously. Just the spirituality alone was not something they could refine. This was the realm. The heaven-defying difference between the 7th and 8th rank was completely different. Color, unable to tell the grade of the pill. However, there are waves of runes on this medicinal pill. These runes can only be left after going through the pill tribulation. In other words, this medicinal pill has already obtained the pill tribulation and become a mutated medicinal pill. Similarly, there are no impurities on it, which means that it has reached the pinnacle level. Pinnacle grade, mutated, grade 8, spirit concentration pill. Grandmaster Yuan's expression became more and more excited, and his body could not help but tremble. In the end, he slowly told her the information he had obtained. He had also relied on his many years of pill Dao experience and knowledge to appraise it. After saying that, he passed the pill to Gong Sun Piaoyu and let the three of them take turns to check. The experts below were all shocked. Their eyes were filled with excitement and envy. Even though he had known that Tian had attained the level 8 super alchemy saint realm and had some idea of what was going on, he was still shocked when Tian personally took out such a pill and was appraised by alchemy saint Yuan. That's right. It's an 8th grade mutated peerless spirit concentration pill. Tier 8 spirit concentration pill. It's known as the most difficult pill to refine among the Tier 8 pills. It's also the most mysterious and powerful pill. Yes, indeed. The spirit concentration pill is the most mysterious existence among the Tier 8 medicinal pills. There is no other. Gong Sun Piaoyu, Tian Qjng, and AoTian all appraised the pills. Their expressions were solemn, and their bodies began to tremble. After waiting for a long time, he finally told her the results of his appraisal. Congratulations to Your Excellency Tian for becoming a level 8 alchemy saint. Congratulations to Sir Tian for vindicating his Dao as a level 8 saint alchemist. Congratulations, Sir Tian, for your great advancement in your pill Dao. After the few saint alchemists finished appraising, all the powerhouses stood up. He bowed to Tian. At this moment, Lingxian's reputation and status had reached an unprecedented level. The holy alchemists of the Mystic Moon Empire and the Heavenly Sun Empire came to congratulate him. The level 8 holy alchemist of the Sky Blue Empire, Gong Sun Piaoyu, also came to congratulate him. Even the Alchemist Guild's Alchemist Grandmaster Yuan had come personally. Moreover, it seemed that Tian had a good relationship with Alchemist Grandmaster Yuan. In that case, Tian had the Alchemist Guild behind him. In addition to Lingxian's heaven-defying alchemy skills and terrifying strength, his current status was no longer comparable to a martial saint. Even a martial god powerhouse would have to show some respect. This one has brought the elders of the Alchemist Guild's Elder Committee to congratulate Sir Tian. The current president of the Alchemist Guild congratulates Sir Tian on becoming a level 8 pill saint. On behalf of the Alchemist Guild, I hereby announce that Sir Tian has become the #1 saint alchemist in the divine martial continent. After all the experts bowed and greeted her, Pill Master Yuan said loudly. She also said the blessings of the Pill Master Guild and the president. At the same time, Tian was given the title of the divine martial continent's first divine alchemist. Although Tian was not competing with other alchemy saints, he was definitely the best in the divine martial continent for refining peerless pills. This was his specialty. No one in the divine martial continent was able to concoct peerless pills. He was the #1 alchemist in the same level. Even alchemists who were one level higher than him might not be as skilled as him. The divine martial continent's #1 alchemy saint. This wasn't he the #1 alchemy saint of the Black Continent. This title was definitely an honor for the Black Continent. The entire divine martial continent was incomparably powerful. No matter how powerful a warrior was, he would not dare to claim to be the strongest person in the divine martial continent. The strength of the Black Continent was not comparable to that of the divine continent. Naturally, it was only natural for others to claim to be the strongest person in the divine martial continent. However, Li Lingtian had managed to do it and become the divine martial continent's #1 divine alchemist. Instantly, the entire Liberty Square erupted in cheers. Countless experts and the citizens of Liberty Sacred City cheered at this moment. This was because the young master of Liberty Sacred City was the #1 sacred alchemist in the divine martial continent. This reputation was enough to shake the entire divine martial continent. From then on, Liberty Sacred City would be famous throughout the divine martial continent. Congratulations, Sir Lingtian. Congratulations, Sir Lingtian. Congratulations, Sir Lingtian. In an instant, countless powerhouses bowed to Li Lingtian and he nodded in return. At the same time, Gong Sun Piaoyu and the others congratulated Li Lingtian. Gong Sun Piaoyu was upset. Initially, Li Lingtian had become the #1 alchemy saint in the Xian continent and had taken away his title. He was prepared to seek advice from Li Lingtian, but he did not expect Li Lingtian's pills to have such a peerless mutation. Now that Lieutenant Lingtian was still the #1 divine alchemist in the divine martial continent, he had completely disregarded the #1 divine alchemist in the Xian continent. He was beginning to feel disgruntled that the title of the #1 divine alchemist in the Xian continent had been snatched away by Li Lingtian. It was only now that he realized how far the difference between the #1 divine alchemist in the Xian continent and the #1 divine alchemist in the divine martial continent was. Li Lingtian was the #1 divine alchemist in the divine martial continent, but he was not the #1 divine alchemist in the Xian continent. Sir Lingtian, this is the Alchemist badge that the Alchemist Guild asked me to bring. Similarly, the Alchemist Guild will reward every alchemist with a pill formula that they are currently using and a high-grade pill formula. This way, it will be easier for them to comprehend. I hope that Sir Lingtian can use the Soul Formation pill to prove himself as a level 9 god pill refiner in the immortal realm one day. With a smile on his face, Pill Master Yuan waved his hand, and the cheers in the carefree square instantly disappeared. The entire square temporarily fell silent. Then he took out a badge. The entire badge was only 2 inches long, and the badge in his hand was completely purple gold. There was an exquisite purple gold flower carved on the badge. There were 8 mysterious engravings around the purple gold flower. The entire badge was extremely mysterious. At this moment, the badge represented a kind of glory in the eyes of all the experts. It represented an ultimate glory. This badge was a supreme existence even in the divine martial continent. On top of the badge, there was the word Lingtian. On the back of the badge there were the words Divine Martial Continent's #1 Divine Alchemist that were shining with a dazzling light. Furthermore, the badge was covered with countless arrays. Li Lingtian could sense a mystical power contained within the badge. This power was enough to destroy a martial god powerhouse. He didn't know what was inside the badge, but it was definitely an ultimate treasure. Grandmaster Yuan stepped forward and personally helped Li Lingtian put on the badge with a smile on his face. Following that, he handed 2 pill formulas to Li Lingtian. This badge can only be found in the Alchemist Guild. It was specially forged by the Alchemist Guild. Don't look down on this badge. It can block an attack from any martial god expert. After Alchemy Master Yuan handed the pill formula to Li Lingtian, he said a few words calmly. His voice was not loud but many people heard him. All the experts were shocked. The Alchemist Guild's badge was one thing, but this pill formula was a Tier 9 Soul Formation pill. Only a Tier 9 Divine Alchemist could use it. The Alchemist Guild had given this pill formula to Li Lingtian so that he could study it and perhaps achieve a breakthrough. Furthermore, it was the news that shocked all the powerhouses when they heard Grandmaster Yuan's words that she hoped Li Lingtian could prove himself as a Tier 9 Divine Pill Refiner in the Celestial Realm. The Immortal Realm was a magical place in the Divine Continent. It was also the headquarters of the Alchemist Guild. Those who could enter the immortal realms were all heaven-defying experts. Only heaven-defying experts were qualified to enter the immortal realms. It can withstand a strike from a martial god expert? This badge can block an attack from any martial god expert. How powerful must such a treasure be? So heaven-defying? It can withstand a blow from any martial god expert. A level 8 Saint Alchemist badge blocking an attack from a martial god expert. This is too heaven-defying. For a moment, countless experts exclaimed. The badge in Li Lingtian's hand was able to withstand a blow from a martial god powerhouse. It was truly terrifying. In this way, this was also reasonable. A Tier 8 alchemy saint was a super figure in the Alchemy Master Guild, so he naturally had to prevent others from plotting against him. If there was a treasure that could resist the plot of a martial god expert, it could at least save this alchemy saint's life. Chapter 797. Saint Alchemist Badge, 1. Haha. 11 This badge can only be used by Pavilion Ling Tian. Therefore, the badge's power can only be displayed in the hands of Pavilion Ling Tian. 11 However, this badge is a destructive weapon. If it falls into the hands of others, it will definitely die. It can also deal a destructive blow to a martial god expert. Grandmaster Yuan laughed loudly. He didn't want countless experts to fight over this badge. If that was the case, not only would it not help Li Lingtian, it would harm him instead. Therefore, he had revealed the might of the badge and its terror. This way, the powerhouses who were eyeing the badge would give up. Besides, with Li Lingtian's cultivation base, even ordinary powerhouses would not dare to have any designs on him. Following that, Li Lingtian and the 4 holy alchemists left the plaza while the other powerhouses celebrated the grand ceremony. Since Yun Xiaofeng was in this place, Li Lingtian naturally did not bother with him. Communicating with a saint alchemist was a way for alchemists to celebrate a grand ceremony. This time, Li Lingtian was destined to become famous throughout the world and become one of the top powerhouses in the divine martial continent. He was definitely a supreme existence in alchemy. The celebration ended after a day. Countless powerhouses returned to their respective countries and gained a new understanding of Li Lingtian's strength. In the hearts of all powerhouses, they had the same thought that they would rather offend the martial god than Li Lingtian. This was because Li Lingtian's strength was comparable to a martial god and he was the god of warriors. As a saint alchemist, the pills he refined were extremely miraculous. Behind Li Lingtian was the Alchemist Guild. Even if the Alchemist Guild did not step forward to help Li Lingtian, the treatment they gave Li Lingtian was almost beyond compare. The title of the divine martial continent's #1 alchemy saint was enough to make countless experts come to surrender and follow him. Coupled with Li Lingtian's status in the Alchemist Guild and Shenzhou, few powerhouses dared to offend him. On the second day, the saint alchemists bade farewell and left Liberty Sacred City. Sir Lingtian, even though you've reached level 8 Saint Alchemist, your current situation isn't good. If all the kingdoms join forces to deal with your Liberty Sacred City, you won't have much of a chance of winning. If Sir Lingtian needs it, you can look for the Alchemist Guild. At that time, the Alchemist Guild will definitely help Sir Lingtian fend off some irresistible forces. Apothecary Yuan turned to Li Lingtian as he left the palace. During this period of time in Shenzhou, he had learned a lot about the matters of Liberty Sacred City and had a general idea of the current situation in Liberty Sacred City. It would not be a good thing for the Alchemist Guild if an alchemy genius like Li Lingtian was killed by other powerhouses. Moreover, if they managed to rope in a monster like Li Lingtian now, it would bring endless benefits to the Alchemist Guild in the future. Don't worry, Sir Yuan, Lingtian will definitely take note of it. If there's really something, I will look for the Alchemist Guild. Li Lingtian smiled. Regardless of Yuan's intentions, at least she was a good person. Besides, in this world, who didn't do it for benefits? Then I can rest assured. However, Sir Lingtian, please pay attention to Gong Sun Piaoyu. Although Gong Sun Piaoyu is also a member of the Alchemist Guild, this person is too terrifying. Moreover, he won't let off any geniuses that are stronger than him. You've already become a thorn in Gong Sun Piaoyu's side. Although you haven't shown it on the surface for the time being, the two of you will face each other one day. After Grandmaster Yuan finished speaking, she left. The martial god Wentian also left. Li Lingtian waited until Apothecary Yuan had left before returning to the palace. It took half a month for Liberty Sacred City to return to its former peace. However, Tian had already announced that he would attack the Four Kingdoms. This was because the main members of the Four Kingdoms had not arrived this time. Only a small number of powerhouses had arrived, and most of them were here to curry favor with Tian. Since the Four Kingdoms had attacked him while he was in seclusion, they were planning to destroy the Carefree dynasty and him. With such an enemy, it was difficult to vent his hatred without killing him. Besides, it was not Li Lingshan's style to tolerate such a situation. Moreover, Tian had always wanted to unify the Mystic Moon Empire. Now that he had made a breakthrough, it was only natural for him to make a move. As for the Four Great Kingdoms, it was just an excuse for Tian. The 3 legions of the Carefree dynasty, as well as some ordinary armies, received the final order to attack the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Immediately, the army of Liberty Holy City headed straight for the border of the 100 Spirit Kingdom. The 9-headed war god also headed towards the border of the 100 Spirit Kingdom. The remaining war god was for Li Lingshan's own use. This war was a war between kingdoms. Tian would not allow Liberty Sacred City to suffer a setback and destroy 100 Spirit Kingdom. After that, he would attack the other kingdoms. The Great Shang Kingdom was no longer his target, so he would wipe it out when the time came. Since the 4 great kingdoms had come to seek death, they would start with them. The Southwind Kingdom, 100 Spirit Kingdom, Epsilon Kingdom, and Heaven's Roar's Kingdom all wanted to wipe out the Carefree dynasty. Otherwise, they would not have sent tens of millions of troops to attack Carefree Sacred City. The army of more than 4 million marched toward 100 Spirit Kingdom. Now that the morale of Liberty Holy City had been boosted, Li Lingshan's cultivation had improved tremendously. He had become the #1 alchemy saint and he had all sorts of heaven-defying means. Naturally, the army below was filled with confidence. The 9-headed war god led the most powerful divine martial army and divine dragon army, while the divine wind army led the rest of the army to attack the 100 Spirit Kingdom. For a moment, the entire Mystic Moon Empire was shaken. Firstly, Tian had just attained the rank of martial saint when the 4 kingdoms joined forces to attack him. In the end, he killed the martial god and another martial god powerhouse before the alchemy saint celebration. With such strength, he was indeed qualified to dominate the world. Furthermore, a celebration was held to celebrate the success of the Saint Alchemist and invite all the experts in the world. And now, he had ordered the attack on the 4 kingdoms. The entire empire was filled with smoke. Boom, boom, boom. With a shocking aura, the millions of soldiers headed straight for the various cities of the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Wherever they passed, they would be invincible. The Carefree dynasty's army was like a sharp arrow that pierced through the defenses of the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Wherever it passed, every city could not resist at all. The 9-headed war god continued to bombard the 100 Spirit Kingdom's army. Even the martial saints were dying. The Carefree dynasty's army rarely attacked cities. They had the war god. The army was only cleaning up the battlefield and doing the final killing. Let's go. Although the 100 Spirit Kingdom doesn't have any heaven-defying martial god powerhouses, there are quite a few 9th firmament martial saints. The overall strength of our army is not bad, but there are no experts at the 6th or 7th sky of the martial saint realm, let alone the super experts at the 8th or 9th sky. After Tian finished his cultivation, he calculated the time and found that the Carefree dynasty's army had been fighting for half a month. Although they had been invincible along the way, he knew that the 100 Spirit Kingdom's true strength was being gathered for the final battle. Tian did not want the Carefree dynasty to suffer any damage in this crucial battle. He could not let their morale suffer a blow. Moreover, Yuan AoTian and Tian Chengzi's cultivation realms had also stabilized. Although they could not casually make a move now, they would still make a move if they were in danger. Freedom Saint City had nothing else to do. They were going to attack other cities. The other kingdoms would not provoke the Freedom Dynasty because all the factions were with the army. Liberty Sacred City was merely a worldly possession to a powerhouse like Tian. Yeah, we can go out and play. Although it's a big battle, there's no need for us to fight. We can enjoy the scenery of the Mystic Moon Empire. I don't know when this war will end. We can't stay in Liberty Sacred City every day. Huangfu Yuan said with a smile. Tian had been in Liberty Saint City for a long time, but she had also started to feel frustrated. Although this battle was dangerous, it was nothing to them. Taking advantage of the great battle, he could go out and play. Sister Yuan is right. I'll go prepare now. Big brother Ling Tian. Wait a moment. Shen Yuan Yingying was extremely happy. For martial artists, what they liked the most was to travel the world. Conquering the world like this was not their life. Moreover, she loved to play and couldn't stop. Next, the girls began to prepare and pack the things they needed for daily use. In less than half an hour, all the girls were ready. They gathered in the garden in the palace and waited for Li Ling Tian to bring them out of the palace. Uncle, can I play outside? Everyone was gathered together. Shen Yuan Qingqing pouted her rosy lips and tugged at Li Lingshan's shirt coquettishly. She looked extremely adorable, causing the girls to burst into laughter when they saw her. All right, I'll bring you to the war god. After all, you'll all be able to come out once we're on the war god. Li Ling Tian said with a smile before activating the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness. He called Tang Qingyue and the others into the divine dragon ring. Then, he gave an order, and the war god moved to the sky above the palace. He pondered for a moment, then quickly entered the war god. Head to 100 Spirit Royal City. Li Ling Tian told Long Da after he arrived on the war god. The war god was filled with the powerhouses of the war god legion. The war god legion now had more than 3,000 people. Furthermore, Yuan AoTian and his companion were also on the war god. This war god was Li Lingshan's personal war god. Its power and speed were stronger than the others because Li Ling Tian had changed it a lot. This subordinate will obey. Long Da bowed respectfully and left before walking into the war god. The war god was the strongest force in Liberty Holy City, and also Li Lingshan's foundation. As for the other armies, there were also countless martial arts saints in them. However, those martial arts saints were not the experts of the war god legion. Then, the war god flew towards the 100 Spirit capital city. The huge war god disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Chapter 798. 100 Spirit Kingdoms Decision, 1. After the war god left Liberty Holy City, Li Ling Tian returned to the top of the war god. The war god was many times more powerful than before. Naturally, the place they were staying in was also the best place on the war god. The top 3 floors were forbidden areas because it belonged to Li Ling Tian and the others. The rich spiritual energy and the spacious environment were definitely a mobile cultivation environment. Li Ling Tian came to the deck and looked at the rapidly moving war god with a faint smile on his face. Qingqing, are you cultivating or playing here? Li Ling Tian asked with a smile as he looked at Qingqing beside him. Qingqing and the others had been to the war god countless times. They were familiar with their rooms and training areas. It was as if they were in a palace. Uncle, I'll just play here. It's not easy for me to come out. Qingqing will play for a while before cultivating. Shen Yuan Qingqing answered without hesitation when Li Ling Tian asked if she was cultivating or playing. With a little girl like her around, it was naturally fun. Moreover, he had been in the palace for this period of time and had no chance to come out at all. It was the same in the past. In Qing Xian's imperial palace, he rarely left the palace. He only had the chance to leave the palace to play after following Li Ling Tian. Now that he had just left the palace, he would not cultivate. Li Ling Tian did not say anything when he saw this. He activated the divine dragon ring and called Huangfu Yuan and the others out. Suddenly, the war god became extremely lively. Apart from Huangfu Yuan and Tang Qingyue, the rest of the girls were all very playful. They were all as happy as children. Only Tang Qingyue and Huangfu Yuan were snuggling up to Li Ling Tian. The rest of them were sitting on chairs admiring the cloudless sky and chattering away from time to time. Before the Carefree Dynasty's army was dispatched, the 100 Spirit Kingdom had already begun preparations. Ever since the armies of the 4 kingdoms were wiped out and Li Ling Tian showed up in a domineering manner to kill all the powerhouses and martial gods, the 100 Spirit Kingdom knew that their kingdom had lost all hope because it was a gamble. They would either bet on Li Lingshan's death or their kingdom's destruction. Now, Li Ling Tian was still alive and had become even more heaven-defying. Coupled with Li Lingshan's current status, the Carefree Dynasty was unstoppable. Naturally, the 100-spirit kingdom was the first stepping stone. Now, Li Lingshan's strength is heaven-defying. His 3 armies and the war god have already annexed the 8 kingdoms of the 100-spirit kingdom. Judging from the current situation, the Carefree Dynasty's army will arrive at the 100-spirit capital city within a month. I wonder if any of you have any ideas? Sima Qing, the king of 100-spirit kingdom, had a numb expression on his face. He was extremely afraid of how powerful Liberty's sacred city was. Although the Carefree Dynasty's army didn't have many experts, the 3 legions were very powerful. They also had the war god. The main reason was that Li Lingshan's strength was too terrifying. Li Lingtian alone could sweep through 100-spirit kingdom. Currently, the entire 100-spirit kingdom was in a state of panic. There was also a serious problem. Li Lingshan's alchemy Dao was so powerful that most powerhouses did not want to go against him. Even if it was a country in Shenzhou, there were only warriors in those countries. The last thing a warrior wanted to do was to provoke an alchemist. Furthermore, Li Lingtian was the #1 holy alchemist in the divine martial continent. Naturally, such a saint alchemist was definitely the god of martial emperor, martial saint, and martial god powerhouses. Only the medicinal pills of a level 8 saint alchemist could make their cultivation improve greatly. Only they could give them more opportunities to break through. Li Lingtian was a super divine alchemist and the #1 divine alchemist in the divine martial continent. The pills he refined were peerless and mutated. Naturally, such pills were the greatest temptation to martial emperors and martial saints. Your Majesty, for the sake of the hundreds of millions of citizens of the 100-spirit kingdom, you should give up. Li Lingtian has the right timing, the right place, and the right people. His methods are powerful and heaven-defying, and his status is unparalleled. Furthermore, he has the hidden backing of the Alchemist Guild. If a war really breaks out, the 100-spirit kingdom will lose its support. Yao Feng, a 9th heavenly layer martial saint, was one of the few super powerhouses in the 100-spirit kingdom. In a kingdom like the 100-spirit kingdom, there were no martial god powerhouses. Only the 9th heavenly layer martial saint was the strongest. His status was naturally very important. Even when facing the king, he didn't dare to offend him. This won't do. The 100-spirit kingdom has already attacked the Carefree Dynasty from the start. Now, the Carefree Dynasty is attacking the 100-spirit kingdom with all their might. If we give up, the 100-spirit kingdom will disappear into the long river of history forever. Could it be that Your Excellency Yao Feng is willing to live under someone else's roof? Or does Your Excellency Yao Feng wish to follow Li Lingtian? After Yao Feng finished speaking, Zhou Yunchuan did not wait for the king to speak and quickly stood up. He was also a 9th heavenly layer martial saint, and his status was on par with Yao Feng's strength. The two of them had always been at odds and were enemies at all times. The Carefree Empire isn't just targeting the 100-spirit kingdom. It's targeting the entire Mystic Moon Empire and the Black Continent. Our 100-spirit kingdom is just a stepping stone. Don't you see this? If we resist, the hundreds of millions of citizens of the 100-spirit kingdom will vanish into thin air. You must know that Li Lingtian is confident in his ability to dominate the world. According to my understanding, Li Lingtian never does anything he's not confident in. Besides, Li Lingshan's current strength is comparable to a martial god. 2 martial god powerhouses have fallen in his hands. Moreover, he has a Tier 9 first-class star glory who possesses all sorts of heaven-defying techniques. Could it be that Sir Yunchuan is confident in killing Li Lingtian? Even if you're the martial god, you can't kill him because he has the Alchemist Guild's badge. If you can't kill Li Lingtian, then just wait for Li Lingshan's destructive revenge and the Alchemist Guild's punishment. Yao Feng said loudly. He knew a lot about the current situation. Now, he understood that Zhou Yunchuan was deliberately going against him. For the sake of their personal grudge, he actually went against the Carefree Empire. This was completely disregarding the billions of citizens of the 100-spirit kingdom. Hearing Yao Feng's words, all the experts were stunned. For a moment, the hall was extremely quiet, and the atmosphere was tense and strange. Similarly, everyone present was a powerhouse, at least a martial saint powerhouse. Naturally, they understood Li Lingshan's strength and the current situation. If they were to go against Li Lingtian, they would be asking for trouble. Moreover, even if the 100 Spirit Kingdom really wanted to go against the Freedom Dynasty, there would definitely be countless experts who would not agree. The celebration at Liberty Holy City was a good example. Even though the 100 Spirit Kingdom and Liberty Holy City were at loggerheads, countless powerhouses from the 100 Spirit Kingdom still went to Liberty Holy City to congratulate Tian. Sigh, this is a world where the strong are respected. We can't stop Li Lingshan's rise from the Freedom King dynasty. The 100 Spirit Kingdom wants to kill Tian to change the kingdom's fate, but Tian is too heaven-defying. This is the will of the heavens. As long as we can protect the billions of citizens of the 100 Spirit Kingdom, the 100 Spirit Kingdom is willing to submit to the Carefree Dynasty. I believe that with Li Lingshan's status, he won't make things difficult for the citizens of the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Sima Qing watched the situation in the main hall with an ever-changing expression on his face. How could he not know how powerful Li Tian was? The Freedom Dynasty's attack on the 100 Spirit Kingdom was not targeted at the 100 Spirit Kingdom at all. The 100 Spirit Kingdom was just a stepping stone for the Freedom Dynasty to conquer the world. The Freedom Dynasty's goal was the entire Xianzhou, and even the entire Divine Martial Continent. There were two reasons why the Carefree Empire attacked the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Firstly, Li Tian had found a good excuse. Secondly, the 100 Spirit Kingdom was the Carefree Empire's first stepping stone. With Li Lingshan's strength and means, it would be a piece of cake for the Carefree Dynasty to sweep the 100 Spirit Kingdom. If the 100 Spirit Kingdom resisted, the 100 Spirit Kingdom would vanish into thin air. As the king of the 100 Spirit Kingdom, he was not very powerful, but he knew better than anyone else that power was closely related to one another. The Freedom Empire only had one goal when they attacked all the kingdoms, and that was to target the Mystic Moon Empire and the Mystic Continent. The 100 Spirit Kingdom followed the Mystic Moon Empire and the Carefree Empire. It was no longer realistic to rely on the Mystic Moon Empire. Only by following the Carefree Empire could they have a chance of survival. At least now, the Carefree Empire was close to the 100 Spirit Kingdom. Either submit, or vanish into thin air. If they submitted now, the 100 Spirit Kingdom would still be the 100 Spirit Kingdom. If they resisted, the 100 Spirit Kingdom would disappear forever. After thinking for a long time, he finally decided. After Sima Qing made his decision, all the experts heaved a sigh of relief. Although they didn't want to become the subjects of a subjugated nation, they didn't want their hometowns to be destroyed, and they didn't want to fall either. Now that Sima Qing had agreed to submit, many matters had naturally been resolved. To them, the 100 Spirit Kingdom had not changed its master, nor had it submitted to them. It had only changed its empire. All of a sudden, the various kingdoms and cities under the 100 Spirit Kingdom opened their gates wide, refusing to fight the army of Liberty Holy City. This situation puzzled the army of Liberty Holy City. However, since they had encountered such a situation, the Carefree Dynasty's army did not stop. On the contrary, they increased their speed and quickly headed towards 100 Spirit Capital City. Li Tian was also puzzled when he received the news. What do you guys think? Li Tian relayed the news to Tang Qingyue and the others. The more people there were, the more suggestions there were. He also wanted to see what Tang Qingyue and the others thought. After all, it was indeed strange that the 100 Spirit Kingdom did not fight. However, the Carefree Dynasty's army had already made up their mind. They would not back down. If they stopped because of the 100 Spirit Kingdom, they would not be able to conquer the world. After saying that, he looked at Huangfu Yuan and the others, waiting for them to speak. He also began to ponder. He naturally did not expect that most of the experts in the 100 Spirit Kingdom were willing to submit. He had never expected that the Xiaoyao Empire's army would surrender even before they reached the city. Chapter 799. The army arrives at 100 Spirit Capital City. There are only two situations. Firstly, the 100 Spirit Kingdom doesn't have the heart to resist. Rather than being destroyed, it's better to submit. After all, submitting to the Freedom Empire is submitting, and submitting to the Mystic Moon Empire is also submitting. They are the closest to our Xiaoyao Empire. If they were not afraid of our Xiaoyao Empire, they would not have taken the risk to attack our Xiaoyao Empire. Now that the Xiaoyao Empire has survived, they already know that they have failed. Resisting will only lead to destruction and death. Secondly, the 100 Spirit Kingdom must be plotting something to lure the Carefree Dynasty's army to the 100 Spirit capital city and wipe them out. But that's impossible, because they already know the strength of our Carefree Empire. Even if we destroy the Carefree Empire, we won't be able to destroy you unless a few martial god experts ambush you. Huangfu Yuan pondered for a long time before slowly analyzing the situation. Tang Chengzi and the others nodded in agreement. Other than these two options, the 100 Spirit Kingdom had no other choice. They had to submit or engage in a war of destruction. However, neither of these options would benefit the 100 Spirit Kingdom at all, and they would not stop Xiaoyao Wang Chao. And Yuyan's words make sense. Both of these factors have a 50-50 chance. After all, the Carefree Kingdom's overall strength isn't strong enough to be a match for the 100 Spirit Kingdom. They're afraid of me. Also, if they want to defeat me, they won't dare to do so unless 3 or 4 Martial God Realm experts join hands. No Martial God Realm expert is a fool, but the number of Martial God Realm experts in the Xian continent can be counted on 10 fingers. It won't be easy to find 3 or 4 martial gods working together, let alone a kingdom. Where can we find 3 or 4 martial gods? After listening to her, Tian began to analyze the situation based on Huangfu Yuyan's analysis. A bunch of girls voiced out their opinions, but they were more or less the same. The war god quickly flew into the distance. No matter what conspiracy the 100 Spirit Kingdom had, the Carefree Dynasty would not stop. As an expert, he had the heart of an expert. At this time, he would also face the difficulties head-on. Right, Tian, what's up with that gorilla demon of yours? Tang Chengzi asked curiously as she looked at Tian. Although the gorilla demon had been in the divine dragon ring, it had not shown any signs of life ever since it perished. She did not expect it to be resurrected this time. Furthermore, this gorilla demon even advanced from Tier 8 to Tier 9. It indeed exceeded their imaginations. They had experienced the terror of the gorilla demon. Tian had relied on the gorilla demon to wipe out the Azure continent. During this period of time, Tian had faced countless dangers alone. If the gorilla demon was around, it would not have been so difficult. They did not know about the gorilla demon's resurrection either. Some time ago, they witnessed Tian killing a martial god powerhouse on the mountaintop. The gorilla demon had contributed greatly to this. When I killed Wu Dao last time, I obtained the Demon King's Pearl. The power of the Demon King's Pearl is extremely mystical. I didn't think that the Demon King's Pearl would be able to revive the gorilla demon. I only wanted to give it a try. Who would ve thought that not only would the gorilla demon be revived, but it would also break through to the first level of the 9th step. A first level gorilla demon is equivalent to a first firmament war god expert. Tian replied with a smile. Apart from his breakthrough, Tian entered the divine dragon ring to inspect some of the treasures he had obtained and organize them. When he saw the Demon King's Pearl, he thought of the gorilla demon. This was an opportunity. If he did not obtain the Demon King's Pearl, he would not have been able to find a way to revive the gorilla demon. He could have used the true dragon's blood to revive the gorilla demon in the future. After reviving the gorilla demon, he had used it. Although he had not killed the black-robed old man's clone, he had still restrained one of the clones. Now that there's the gorilla demon, I believe that most kingdoms will be anxious. In addition, your cultivation is equivalent to 2 martial god experts. Moreover, you have the ice and snow summoning spell. The ice goddess clone you summon can easily kill a martial god expert. Alright, big brother Tian, do you know that snow goddess? Yuan Yingying asked curiously. She had met the snow goddess clone twice. The first time was to kill Tian, but she knew that the clone had gone easy on him on purpose. They were curious as to why the snow goddess went easy on Tian, but none of them asked him. This time, he met the snow goddess clone again. This time, she was here to help Tian. The summoned powerhouses would not have any personal feelings, but this snow goddess clone had personal feelings for Tian. Otherwise, Tian would not be an exception. Others thought that Tian was flirting with the snow goddess clone. However, Yuan Yingying understood Tian's personality. Even if he saw a beautiful woman, he would not act like that. This was because each of them was a peerless beauty. Furthermore, there were a few girls who had yet to touch them. Naturally, they would not go out and mess around. Besides, with his status and identity, coupled with his elegance, all the girls in the world would fall for him. He would not easily interact with other girls. I really don't know her. In my memory, she was a super mighty figure in the upper realm. Besides, we can't get along like fire and water. She's the ice goddess, and I'm the flaming sacred body. Tian shook his head. He was already used to reincarnation in this world. His transmigration was also a true reincarnation. Xueqi and his wife were still unaware of this. However, Chengzi and the others knew that because Ling had also obtained the inheritance, it was normal for some ancient mighty figures to reincarnate in the divine martial continent. It was just that very few people knew about it. When the time comes, if husband leaves this ice goddess behind, there's no need to summon her. We wouldn't mind having one more sister. Sister Yuan, Sister Chengzi, what do you think? Shun Mei had a faint smile on her face as she looked at Tian. After she finished speaking, she turned to Huangfu Yuan and the others. Suddenly, everyone on the war god broke out in laughter. You little girl, how dare you laugh at me? But it's not bad to have one more fighter. Are you used to his cold aura? Tian reached out and pinched Shun Mei's cheek with a relaxed smile on his face. It would have been fine if they did not mention it. However, Lingshan's heart stirred when they mentioned the snow goddess. If he could make the snow goddess his lackey, he would not need to summon her anymore. He was also curious. This time, the snow goddess was like a delicate girl, which made him a little afraid. If the snow goddess heard you say that, I wonder what she would be like. Every time I summon it, it's only 1,000th of the ice goddess avatar. I wonder what the real ice goddess looks like. It should be a peerless goddess. Huangfu Yuan was extremely curious when she saw her sisters laughing at Tian. Just imagine the snow goddess being the ultimate mighty figure in the upper realm. If she heard Lingshan's words, who knew what kind of expression she would have? Well, know when the time comes. Lingshan's lips curled into a smile as he looked into the void. The army of the Freedom Kingdom had already passed by. Wherever the war god passed by, cities and countries would submit. This was because the flags of all the cities and countries had been changed to the word Xiaoyao. Wherever the word Xiaoyao appeared, it would be the world of the Xiaoyao dynasty. At this moment, the millions of soldiers of the Xiaoyao dynasty had already arrived at the city. Rumble! 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 Those who obey will prosper, and those who rebel will die. Sweep the black continent and unify the world. Those who obey will prosper, and those who rebel will die. Sweep the black continent and unify the world. In front of the 100-spirit capital city, millions of soldiers were gathered in a black mass. Their shocking aura soared into the sky from thousands of miles away. Heaven and earth trembled in front of this sound, and the space trembled. The war god had already arrived a day ago. However, they had to wait for the other armies of the Freedom Dynasty. Now, the 3 legions and 1 million regular legions had arrived 10,000 miles away from 100-spirit capital city. As the commander of the 3 legions, Marshal Saint Ming Luo's position in the army had reached its peak. This was because the entire army understood that the world belonged to Tian and the army belonged to Marshal Saint Ming Luo. Marshal Saint Ming Luo was also Lingshan's subordinate. Loyalty to Marshal Saint Ming Luo was equal to loyalty to Tian. As long as they served Tian, they would be loyal to him. Marshal Saint Ming Luo used to be a super expert, but she had led the army many times and had her own set of experiences. Morale would affect the outcome of the battle. The Freedom Dynasty did not lack strength, experts, or morale. However, they had to raise their morale to the maximum and use it to suppress the 100-spirit kingdom. The army of millions was made up of martial arts grandmasters, martial emperors, martial supremes, and martial emperors. When such experts gathered in the millions, their might would be earth-shattering. Heaven and earth trembled at this moment, and terrifying sound waves struck the 9 heavens. Boom! 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 The ground trembled under his feet, and the mountains shook continuously. The tens of millions of soldiers in the 100-spirit capital city were also shocked when they saw this aura. The entire Mystic Moon Empire was well aware of Li Lingshan's reputation and the strength of the Carefree Empire. Now that they were going up against Li Lingshan's Carefree Empire, their hearts began to tremble. Those who obey will prosper, and those who rebel will die. Sweep the Black Continent and unify the world. The morale of the army grew stronger and stronger. The millions of soldiers gradually approached the 100-spirit capital city. Soldiers were cunning, but the three armies of millions were completely suppressed by the destructive power. This was a battle between two kingdoms, a contest of strength. It was not something that a single expert could control. Unless it was a powerhouse like Li Ling Tian, even a martial saint powerhouse could not affect the outcome of the battle. When faced with a powerhouse like Li Ling Tian who could easily destroy the world and kill the opponent's powerhouse, an army would be useless no matter how many troops they had. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.